talking about aren't real.
Well, we're not talking about the real science one. We're talking about the
We're talking about
alchemy
aperture
special
science.
needs. We're talking about special needs.
Alright, is this shit working? Let's find out. I am currently not got everything ready yet on my end, so just give me a second if it is working. Probably hear it soon enough on the thing. There's a little bit of input lag. And this was a little bit of a short notice stream starting not at the agreed time, but there is a reason for that if anyone is watching this. Basically, the reason why this stream is not an organised time, shit happened on my end. Alright, is this shit working? Let's find out. Okay. And I am that so I don't essentially just get distracted with hearing shit of myself. Okay. Yes, yes. All of it is working, and I am going to now essentially just give out a bit of a message to everyone in the thing. The lovely, lovely Discord, where we have a fucking podcast. Right, let's see if I can move Vulkan. Move it, move it. And Vulkan, if you can...
Hello.
Okay, well, I had only moved Vulkan, but we are live. I'm just making a little bit of a announcement that we're doing this. It was a little bit of a short notice shit because basically all the stuff that's happened with my what's it called? My granddad who was ill. For anyone who is not knowing and aware, so yeah, shit happened on my end and made it so we almost didn't have a podcast, but we do have one. This will be
That's
episode.
all good then, Harry.
Yeah.
This
will be episode 1.
Oh, we're number 1. We were 0 last time, weren't we?
Yeah, it was episode 0 last time, and now it's it. What's happening with Vulkan? Because I've not heard him say anything. Like,
he went AFK earlier.
Okay, so he'll just jump in, like talking live, and have no idea what's going on. I'll just
yeet him back to the other channel for now, or just yeet him up out of here because I think he ordered a pizza or an escort, one or the other. And it arrived, so he's disappeared.
You fucking degenerates.
Well, the conversation was about, for some reason we were talking about escorts, and then he said his pizza had arrived and then disappeared. So I just assumed it was a euphemism.
I'm currently shaking.
If it was a pizza, I think he'd have come back by now.
I'm shaking my head in disapproval at the state of this shit.
Yeah, it was a bit.
I will have to mute him, like server mute him, if I start hearing moans. I'm not having it. I'm not having any of it. the Christian purity of this server must remain.
Christian purity.
Fuck you.
Fuck you talking. You should have come along last Friday.
No, I couldn't. You know I couldn't.
Yeah, I know the reasons you couldn't have, but it would have been funny if you had.
I would have left. You realise I would have just like left as soon as you guys started getting a bit weird with that stuff.
Probably been staying with Oil, so would have had to have gone where he goes.
Yeah, well, I kind of would have just been like, alright, I'm gonna get taxi, what's it called, train station, goodbye guys. Would effectively been my attitude at that point. It's like, I can't imagine wanting to actually try what it's like going to a strip club. It's just, you strange individual. Anyway, this first thing is something that was sent in by Carb, actually. Of all people.
What have we got here?
Well, I'm going to test to see if I can actually stream this now to the thing. Share.
The thing and the thing at the same time, but this is the thing.
Yeah. Yep.
Sounds like you're failing.
Shut up. Let's see. Does this work?
Something's worked. Can we see here?
Does that show?
Yes.
And the stream is not dead.
Well, hey.
Just check on the YouTube thing. Like the stream's not dead as well. Because
I don't know where we're
fucking
at.
boomer here with technology. I'm not a tech man. It very much is showing.
There's 3 videos up.
3.
It shows that. Yeah, there's. Oh, is it the first test that we got shut down?
Yeah. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. There's episode
Oh, the
0.
third
There's
one.
0.5, and then there's episode 1. Okay, technically episode 0.5 is actually really the episode 0 because that's when we actually went into shit. But it's all running, right? Okay.
Yes, it is there. I
Okay.
can see it on both my screens. Has it? One of the YouTube, one of the Discord.
Okay then. In that case, then, we will observe whatever it is that Carb put. Also, as well, Carb gave this, which is. Can you see this screen that I've changed to now?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, good. He effectively sent in that being there, like, oh, this is also my comment that I thought would be like an interesting argument. This is a 5-minute long thing. Okay, well, at least this should be more entertaining. So I'm gonna press play then. See what this story is about, Carb.
I think we should just go to war.
Invade the fucker, right?
Yeah, I think
You have
so,
to be
yeah.
kidding me.
That's just me.
Do you think that we should consider the nuclear option if it comes down to it? Just nuke Russia and
No nuclear.
The living
Absolutely.
embodiment of a
Always be
normie.
nuclear.
The
Yeah, 'cause
living
it's
embodiment
gonna
of
continue to go
normidom.
on. They've been doing this
Yeah, we
shit
should just
for how long
nuke
now?
everything, destroy the Earth. Fuck it.
fly zone over
Press
Ukraine.
the
Flies over, we shoot 'em down.
Absolutely.
the big mode player, not the full screen, but the other one, the cinema,
Absolutely.
the theater mode.
There's women, children, there's innocent people
It
dying.
looks better, and you get Bezek's
You know,
link to his YouTube channel
Ukraine
off your screen.
are sovereign country.
Stop giving them free advertising.
I don't mind us both having subscribers, is all.
Not, like, educated
I'm
Yeah, but
not
don't
as
help
autistic about this as you.
NATO should
Don't help
impose a
them.
no-fly zone
Eh.
over Ukraine.
No.
And do you feel that the U.S. should invade Russia and stop Putin if it comes down to it?
No.
A lot of folks in that area are just kind of
Yeah.
suffering
Why would you
because they
invade
live there.
Russia?
They might not have anything to do with
It's
what's
still
going
kind of
on.
cold.
Right.
And so
And
whatever their
it's
best
like the
interest
old
is,
man's opinion. So like,
yeah.
look, these people are in the backwards area. We don't talk about them. I'm not nuking the entire Earth over this.
I think we should get
It's
involved.
honestly kind of a based approach.
You know, to protect people. Like I said, I'm really. If it comes down to it, I'm really for protecting the innocent lives.
It's like a cost-benefit
you know, our
analysis. It's
history
like,
has
okay,
been
well, what
great, but,
happens
like,
when
if
you
we
don't
get involved,
start
things
throwing the
get worse
nukes?
and worse, and the death toll get higher and higher.
Ukraine is
That's
bad-ish.
We kind of screw ourselves over.
But when I do throw the nukes, everything's
yeah,
fucked.
No,
Like, well,
for sure.
don't do
And
it
we're
then.
one of the biggest powers in the world, so we've got the resources. We should do it.
Should the nuclear option ever be considered?
Thing is, under Biden, they don't have the
I don't
resources.
know.
That's the thing.
Probably not.
Like, they
Sounds
just do
really
not
cool.
have the
They were
resources.
still
There
picking
isn't.
up
It's
the
not
pieces
even
from the
questionable.
last couple world wars where that happened. So
Too big of a death toll there.
yeah.
Do you feel that NATO should impose a no-fly zone over Ukraine?
Yes.
Do you feel NATO should start World War III?
Literally.
No. No.
I love these
How
people.
about the nuclear option? Is
They're
that ever-
great. They're
No, it's not
retarded.
an
I
option.
love it.
So even if he was to, if Putin was to fire a nuke, you think we should fire back? Or?
Yes.
So that would be the only situation.
It'd be the only situation.
Of course, the fucker is tattooed.
It's just the fucking same normal position. It's like,
Hang on, no, I'm pausing
yeah,
this.
nuclear shot destruction.
Yeah, yes. I fucking love how it's like a case of everyone who's not really old is just there like, yeah, nuke everything, destroy the world. It's like you can tell who watches TV in this. Like the pure fucking soy city thing that I cannot stand. It's right there.
Second plague.
What?
Second plague has arrived.
Ah, second plague, good sir. Unmute
What's
yourself.
up?
There we go. So Second Plague is someone who's been on the Sultans before, but this is his first time in the Plebs of Shadilay. And Francesca personally messaged me earlier. She actually likes the idea of just having different people in different episodes every now and then.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have the Second Plague, who's currently in his masculinity arc, as he calls it.
Yes.
Because he is becoming an anime character, while I'm in my Fat King Henry arc because I'm looking after my granddad and can't go to the fucking gym. I'm jealous of you, man. I'm jealous of you, Ash. Fuck you. How dare you succeed?
I read the articles by Will Nolan to, keep me going.
So essentially, we've only just started, and this is like the first sort of like part of the podcast. So I'm gonna what you've missed is basically just us
Is
saying.
this like an Ami Horowitz video or something?
No. Basically, it's a case of the video that we're currently on is just people being asked, "Hey, do you think starting war with Ukraine and Russia and nuking things would be bad or good?" And a lot of them,
It's like, yeah, don't do it.
yeah, a lot of them are just there like, "Yeah, why don't we just fuck up everything?" It's like, no, don't do that. Oh, we have more people. We have even more.
Yeah,
people.
I mean it's incredible.
Okay. And it's and there's one
You just
person
thought-
just a second ago who said actually that we have the resources to stop this, and this. And it's like these people don't have the resources under Biden. They they had the resources under Trump, which was the funny thing, but not anymore. Anyway, that being said, does anyone else want to say anything before I continue and press play?
Keep going, Harry.
Okay, sure.
I mean, that guy had all the face tattoos, like a discount Darth Maul, so...
That's the kind of the impression I sometimes get with tattoo people. Oh shit. Give me a second. I'm just gonna message Carb. With
That being said, I'm
yes,
like,
Carb, we're early. Just doing voice to text for this message. Because I was organizing things while looking after my granddad, I just kind of rushed into this. Okay, sorry.
Well, that being said, I think the exception of the rule on face tattoos is Tom McDonald. He's a Chad.
On that one, I'm not sure who he is actually, which is going to annoy me.
He's that white rapper who makes all those like based fucking rap songs, like Snowflakes and In God We Trust. Basically, a bunch of rap songs like shitting on woke people. It's fucking great.
Admittedly, I'm not the biggest fan of rap. My apologies for getting sidetracked. The only times when I've ever sort of listened to rap is I've had it on like a workout playlist. It's like, oh, it'll be a rap song about a My Hero Academia character, or a rap about Eren Yeager that is entirely justified and is not something that's just edgy at all. And other characters, and the list goes on. Sometimes I've got a few other songs in there as well. You Say Run because it just fits. Fuck you.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And Jet Set Run. I'll send you my workout playlist of songs later on, actually. But one of them was what's it called? I can think of the name. I'll Make a Man Out of You, and Disney took it down because copyright. And I'm just sat there like, fuck you, fucking bitch, cunt.
That
faggot.
just makes me think of like EFAP's reaction to like the live action Mulan.
No, don't get into that. We'll do that in the end, right? Okay. I promise you we will talk about that if we've got time at the end, because I could go on a long I could really get into it because I actually quite like the original Mulan, and being a martial artist, you start to notice a few problems. So I could go on to that because everyone puts their autism into trains, and I put mine into researching autistic levels of martial arts knowledge on a sort of technical level.
Speaking of trains, Harry, did you see that link I just posted with it says the trains in Ukraine are running through the dark. It's like they're making their trains run at night, and they've written an article about it because they run at night.
You wrote this article.
I posted it somewhere. It's like they're running through the dark. It's the trains are still going. That's all. It's literally no information. Just like the trains are still going. Yes, they're doing what we'd expect. Who would have thought it?
God,
the trains are still running.
Oh dear. So what's it called? I will definitely talk about that, but I'm aware it would just become a massive tangent. So if you want, we can talk about that later. But because I actually really want to now that you've said it. But oh my god, do you guys want to continue this then?
Yeah, sure.
Gotta catch
See
myself.
these
without being-
dumbasses.
They are so fucking dumb. It's painful. Let's continue torturing ourselves.
NATO's been
Dr.
encroaching on
Fauci.
No!
and all of the
Dr. Fauci, give us vaccines. Help all of us who have been quarantined.
It's all nasal. That's all it is all the way down. I've been working on some impressions myself, but I'm nowhere as good as you. Sorry for everyone who just blew out all their brains. We'll send funeral cards to your families. It was worth it just for the cringe.
Baltic states are now part of NATO, and I'm not in any way justifying the actions of Russia, but for anyone who's been studying the conflict for a long time,
And I'll make that louder.
it was sort of
Sorry about that. I
there
may
was
need to
a
adjust
where
certain settings.
The Russian
No, second do it from his end. Right click the screen and
that
drag the bar.
the normal people have to.
I'm on my. Okay, how do I fucking. I'm on my.
I'll
phone
pause
right
for
now.
Oh, you idiot. Why would you come on a phone? Still the same thing though, you tap it and do some up. Click on the thing you want to change and make the changes. It's kind of straightforward.
Tell me when you're ready.
We're ready,
Good
just
change you wanna
going. There's,
Okay, he's
it's
ready?
not just seconds watching, everybody's watching. Actually, how many people are watching? 3 people are watching.
Oh,
There's
hello!
me, Harry,
all of
and one of you guys. Not even everybody on the stream is watching. Fuck's sake, man.
We'll get there in the end. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We'll improve over time. Anyway, wait.
See, it lets me click Harry to change his volume, but not the stream. That's
Give me a
weird.
second, then let me see. While no, I cannot increase the volume of that. Sorry, guys. I can't increase the volume very much. Actually, hang on. I might be able to.
On his end. It has to be done on his end.
No, you just. Yeah, no, you can do. You don't tap on the screen. You open the view up of Harry's screen, and then you drag up from the bottom on mine. It's an
Oh
extra
yes,
menu.
okay, thank you. Yeah, found it.
And so begins the most boomer stream that has ever boomed.
Even though I'm fucking 24. Okay.
Oh, okay. Anyway, though, so ready for more bullshit to ensue?
Of course.
God damn it. We have Donald Trump and Cenk Uygur and Nasal Man. Okay, so we're getting quite a few people in the stream already, including Vulkan, who I'm concerned that he's still not said anything. I'll just put it that way. Anyway, let's press play.
clashing interests of leaders of opposing nations.
Wait, was that
Because that's ultimately who the toll of any conflict falls on. But I also don't think that the actions of NATO over time did anything to help the situation. And I think, if anything, Russia was backed into a geopolitical...
Yeah, NATO didn't really help in any situation. Like, NATO to Russia is basically an existential threat, and...
Dude, like... Boone is just, like, jerking off to this guy right now.
I don't think so. I think NATO should understand...
I can imagine Spoon...
I think NATO should have just invited Trump. No, sorry, not Trump. Fucking Putin. They should have just gone to Putin. You fancy joining NATO?
That would have been hilarious.
Well, he did ask in the past. They've asked twice, in fact. So
Yeah, but it would be join NATO against China.
The funny thing as well is, I think when Putin asked, if anyone wants me to pause so they can like continue on with a point, let me know. I think in the past,
It's boring. Keep going.
I think Putin asked in the past, like, hey, can we do this deal thing? That was with the Soviet Union, not with Russia. Goodbye. It's like rude much. It's really helpful and not going to cause any sort of tensions at all ever.
but it's also true.
Absolutely not.
No.
For no reason ever.
Yeah, and I don't think...
But it's like a case of, although legally the Soviet Union and Russia weren't the same country, it's like,
And
Okay, there's a little bit of a connection, to say the least.
It's like that deal done with the tanks and the Iranian woman recently in the 400 million. It was done with the previous Iranian government, but which don't exist anymore, which is why we didn't recognise paying back the money, but have done now due to them basically threatening one of their own citizens.
Well, the conflict, yeah, which is bizarre. She clearly wasn't worth £400,000, but
And to be under
400,000.
as well,
It was
because-
400 million.
400, well, 400 whatevers. But it was complicated because when shortly after that, when the regime change happened, the EU put sanctions on them. So we were in this bizarre situation where if we gave them the money back, we wouldn't be in line with the sanctions of the EU.
This
So
is a
ironically,
consequence of
in leaving
Brexit.
the EU,
They've taken
so
advantage
ironically,
of
as
Brexit,
a Brexit, we were able to give the money back without. Yeah, it's quite obscure to be honest. But.
And going to continue pressing play.
Just let the video run, Harry.
I sometimes like pausing it so like people can hear like different things people are saying better.
But let it run because nobody wants to hear what these people have to say. They have they have a good opinion on let's don't blow everything up.
Shadow, the specific reason this video is here is for what this guy's saying.
Share.
Because he literally says,
follow your heart.
Everyone has the right to live.
To help. That's what you should do.
Oh, that's so profound.
Okay, so we ended with Purple Santa Claus. Okay.
So, what's it called? We're going to go to this that Carp sent afterwards. So it's a case of because he wanted to include like this comment here. He wanted to include this. This is actually
Just try and give it context.
Oh yeah. He wanted to give it context. No one has a right to live as approved by death of almost every human being who has ever walked this earth, but they do have the right to self-defense. Does anyone want to give a comment on that?
That's more accurate.
Oh yeah.
The right to life thing is all like being a profound like lovey-dovey bullshit. It's like, oh yeah, we shouldn't hurt people. We should do this. It's
I'm
like,
sorry, but sometimes
this takes the onus of responsibility and puts it on the individual. You have the right to defend your life.
Like, I'm sorry
But
that you
you
want
don't
to
have
say
the
that
right to
that the fucking cow has a right to life, but that steak do be looking delicious.
The cow can defend itself if it likes.
Oh yeah, it can, but if I want it more, I just want it more. And that steak, I want it. So come here.
Violence is the ultimate form of authority.
Oh yeah.
So it is the same game all the way up. People feel really like, no, that's not right. Like, well, yeah,
said
but
I fucking want it more.
It doesn't make it. It doesn't make it the most moral thing, but it is. It's just how the real world works.
And Putin wants Putin wants Ukraine. Does Ukraine wants to defend itself more than Putin wants it? That's the question that needs to be asked with this, because you can't just get the whole world in on two countries effectively a spat and cause nuclear fucking hell shit. This is why we're doing proxy wars. It's like proxy wars, though destructive, they are nowhere near as destructive as maybe we should nuke a nuclear power, and there will be consequences.
Vietnam War was way better than going to nuclear war, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's a lot better, and Vietnam
But you don't know
wasn't
because
good.
the nukes, a nuclear war, it's either going to be full mutually assured destruction, everything is destroyed, or a couple get fired, and that's that because it's like, oh shit, they've got the balls to fire it, we don't. Yeah, we'll capitulate. That's the only way that it can go, and nobody ever expects it to.
I'm really hoping in the future that some I'm sorry, Carp, for saying this, but I'm really hoping in the future some idiot manages to invent some sort of weeb crap bullshit nuke thing, where it makes like an energy explosion but there's no fallout. That would taking away fallout from nuclear explosions would make potential wars less
Shadow
dangerous.
can probably give more detail on this, but the neutron bomb maybe is that what
that works?
A nuclear bomb doesn't actually have that much fallout. The worst fallout is the initial effects. Like you get the really dirty shit that gets thrown up that rains back down again, and that's sort of it's all mostly gone by the end of the month. after about a month or so. The nasty stuff, like a nuclear power station having problems, is longer term more dangerous than a nuclear blast.
Yeah.
And even that, the danger isn't. It can be mitigated quite well.
So with that, go on.
Wasn't there a lot of birth defects registered after in the two cities that were bombed at the end of World War II, though? I don't know the stats. I'm just going
Plant
purely
food
off memory.
and if you plant your seeds in the ground that's been affected and eating it, it's going to cause you problems if the soil's not being those are the most obvious, and if you fucking move away from the area, basically. But it
We are
doesn't
actually
make it
getting comments.
unusable.
That's cool. Hi guys.
Oh yeah, by the way, like I linked a video, it's at 3:04 of Nigel Farage from 2014 calling this shit.
Where's that? Oh, podcast. Right, okay. The podcast voice text.
Yeah.
3:04. Just remember that time.
Each demon's watching.
Yes. I'll essentially just get that for future reference, because I've got everything sort of laid out in the correct time, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, so why does...
That's close enough. Oh, okay.
You muted it.
No, I
How
said...
vibrant?
Unmute it, Harry.
No, I'm going straight back to essentially, so... Would you guys agree that now it would be a good time to move on to the next story? Because I think we've... Because, before we... Just want to check with you guys.
Yes, move on.
It was to move an argument, and if no one is in against it, then yeah, carry on.
Yeah, well, it's a case of I don't see how you could argue. Like, if you want to be all lovey-dovey, the world is perfect, we can create the fucking utopia. No one has to ever suffer at all. It's like, okay, well, yeah, sure, someone would argue against that, but
not real.
Yeah, it's not fucking real. Unfortunately, sometimes violence and death is fucking necessary in a brutal, fucking cruel world. A lot of things in the world just want you to be dead, especially if you're in Australia, because Jesus Christ, there's a lot of poisonous shit out there. It's just, that is where God put all of his projects he was about to delete, as far as I'm concerned. You really have a fucking hate boner for him, I swear.
I don't, I could just see the picture again in the bottom right of your
screen. Okay. That feel better? What the fuck?
Okay, so we should now be live.
Oh,
I am
was this the yeah, this is the same link. Okay, I didn't expect it to start playing.
Oh, did it autoplay into something?
Yeah. It was the same link, right?
Someone else's... Oh, yes, that's the...
Okay, I can't remember who it was who sent this one in, actually. But this is...
3 hours.
Yeah.
Where have you got a timestamp?
I'm not...
recently Name sent it in.
Okay.
But he didn't put much of a comment against it, basically. I think when he put it up, it hadn't actually happened at the time. I think it was premiering, so it was just probably just a talk in general about how it went. I haven't listened to all
If
of
he
it.
hops on and says anything about it, then we can look at it.
Yeah, I'm going to essentially
Absolutely.
just, in that case, then go on to the next one, then. We could come back to this one once we've done the Mulan stuff, but yeah. So here we have another one, which does have more context. This one was from Shadow, and Shadow is here to give us any context if anyone has any questions. What do you have to say about this, Shadow? This was yours, right?
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it was just coincidental shit, wasn't it? It was just like, oh, we're going to relabel these things, and whilst this is also being happening.
I love though.
All the people in the hospital of COVID, they're not getting ill from the vaccine, but this stream's going to get taken down now, Harry.
Well, I'll just before moving on, I will say one thing. If no one else wants to, add extra input. I love the how it started versus how it's going memes, because it's always a case of the crazy person saying something that sounds as ridiculous as possible, such as like a Republican religious person in America just explaining that if you essentially just do the whole gay marriage thing, you'll eventually have people going after and targeting kids because there's a slippery slope. And everyone in response just say like, oh, don't you know you're silly and bigoted? That's just an argument fallacy. It's not real. and then it's
And then we get
we're coming for your children.
You could argue there's other reasons for that, and people being gay and doing their thing is fine. Just don't like it. It's about going beyond the reasonable consent of things and stuff. So you've got
the reason why it was always going to end up this
and they're
way.
going outside of that, so it's like just don't fucking go outside of that, you disgusting.
The reason why it was always going to end up this way is their argument for, well, we don't want to be discriminated against is, I can't help it, I was born this way. And so if you have someone who is born attracted to children, they can use the same argument. And so it's, they can. They can just say, well, I was born this way,
Harry,
therefore...
they can't. You're making the argument for the pedos. That's disgusting. No, they can't, because the straight person, the gay person is born that way, but the age of consent still applies. So the pedophile was born that way, the age of consent still applies, then they stop. That's it.
Well,
I'm not making the pedophile's point. I'm making the point that they can, for lack of a better term, appropriate the argument of the gays.
But they can't, though, because of age of consent. Like, they're violating age of consent, so it's not you.
Well, sure, but like the argument, I think the point being is that, like, there's a difference between, right, like, arguing two consenting adults, right? That's one thing. But arguing, I was born this way, therefore I have no control over my own behavior and can't be morally judged for my behavior is, like, a different argument.
Yeah,
I completely agree that the I was born this way thing is kind of, like, not a sufficient argument on its own.
It's not exactly an argument. It's a description. People are born the way they are, which is true, but it doesn't. It's not an excuse for, like, if you're being fucking autistic, if you're born that way, basically. But if you're being an irritating little shit because you keep reciting fucking Shakespeare around people and they don't like it, well, that's on you. Sort yourself out. You're bothering people, and then you don't just go, I was born this way, I can do what I want, and then that extends to everything else. So the paedophile can't go, I was born this way. No, fuck off.
And even if you wanted to agree that they were born that way, you then have to look at the other side, which is what rights does the child have, and which of those people do you side with, and pretty much everyone will agree. So even if you don't like Shadow's argument, or you think it's, there's something more to it, you still always fall on the side of the child, because if a society can't protect its children,
then there's no future of that society. And going
really
back to the whole cow thing I said earlier, it's a case of, I want the child protected more than you want to touch the child. Like,
yes.
and this Vulkan I have, this wooden training sword, also wants this child protected a lot more than you. And this N720 fucking tank gun, or whatever, however they're categorized, also wants the child. It just extends and gets worse and worse. But
wait, it gets worse.
Yes. This one is something I admittedly saw on Facebook, and
Is the one they kept airbrushing it?
I think it might be. I think it might be, admittedly.
Some of them are. I think it's only really the close-ups, but I don't know. The problem is you don't know anymore, do you? You don't, unless you see an original.
Yeah, because this does sort of.
He's far enough. He's far enough away that you could probably get away with it, So without it being.
Yeah, I'm gonna call him a he as well. This does tie in a little bit to
The one on the right does just look done up in Photoshop because it looks like a professional shit.
Yes.
The one on the left is like just sort of a picture taken from a video, probably.
Yeah.
And doing that is kind of like, why?
Do feel free to disagree with me if you like, but I do actually think this ties in kind of nicely to these.
To disagree with you, Harry. I always feel that freedom. Don't you worry.
Okay. I feel like this ties in kind of neatly to the Load Seaters story, where they were covering the new leftist neo-male, and it's a case of
Elliot Page.
Story.
Yeah, Elliot Page. It's a case of, if you're short and you have a tiny dick, you're the new alpha Chad of no you're not. Fuck you. Fuck you. Elliot Page's best is inferior to my worst, unironically. I wish I was exaggerating. I'm not. Literally is inferior to my
like,
worst.
It just seems to be like we're going down like additional layers of unreality.
It does. Oh yeah, the most attractive men ever are the ones who are short, can't defend you, are weak, feminine. No, they're not. Fuck you.
You see, like,
be gone, thoughts.
Well, here's the annoying thing. Like, I'm like only 5'7". I made peace with that a while ago, and so like that kind of cringe, condescending bullshit is like the first time I've been fucking ashamed of my height in a while.
Just like short kings, and you're just there like, fuck off, you bitch.
Yeah. Like, don't fucking condescend to me. I'm a man.
Literally. The thing with that though is it's a case of I'm actually the shortest guy in my family, and it's not that I'm necessarily short. It's that my mum decided she liked short guys, so there is a market for that. And she was tall for her generation, and so all of her sister and both her brothers were tall for their generation, and they married a tall man and tall women, and so all my cousins are basically fucking giants. So someone of my height, you might think.
But you got the short end of the genes.
I was taller than my dad, though. I was taller than my dad, but it's a case of
that's the best you can hope
your
for,
mum.
honestly, Harry. When that happens, I'm the same. So
yeah, but it's a case of because I was always the dwarf of my family, I just kind of don't give a shit about people who are just there. Because everyone in high school was always 6 foot. Everyone always said that they were 6 foot tall. To the point where I kind of lost track of how tall I was because everyone like the tall people,
when they were saying they were 6 foot, were they taller than you?
No, some of it, like the taller and the shorter ones both said they were 6 foot.
Harry, I think you're taller than average.
I think you are taller than average.
Thank you. I don't think.
I don't remember what you said.
Yeah, but oil's short.
But my best advice though, for if anyone ever does feel essentially just a little bit nervous about not being the tallest guy. It's all in your head. You just got to walk around like you're 20 feet tall. And of course, on the internet, if you have an argument with someone and they start
things to make yourself feel like that first.
Oh yeah, but it's a case of on the internet you always meet people who are 7'7". Everyone on the internet is of course the tallest motherfucker in the room because there's never any consequences to anything they say.
We're all 7'7".
They're online. They're always the only person in the room. So
we're all 7'7". Let's move on.
Yes. so going down to this, I very much agree with this shit right here. Oh, I can hear my Uncle Mike who's just entered the house.
Echoing.
Sorry about that. I will very briefly go make myself a cup of tea and introduce myself to my uncle and see how my granddad's doing because I didn't realise my uncle was gonna be visiting. So sorry for just leaving you there on that, but I'll be back as quick as I can.
Oh, great, we can hijack his stream. What do you want to talk about?
Yes. No. I'll be.
He's left it on this bloody. He could have left the picture up a bit more interesting.
So when you're a man trying to get a woman, if the woman approaches you, tell her to fuck off and that she's a whore. And if she acts all like an entitled bitch about you telling her to fuck off and that you're not interested, then you know she's a total bitch and isn't worth your time. But if she just takes it, then you know she's passed a test, and you can tell her that, and that you have proven that she's not a spoiled bitch, and that she's actually worth your attention.
Second, how do you make Harry's argument more? You make Harry's argument in a much more articulate way. It's exactly what he says, but he doesn't say it quite as like you go a bit posher with the accent as well and everything. But you can create the parallel universe Harry of where he's a little bit sharper.
I don't know. I guess I've just done enough debates in my life.
You know his point, but you can make the argument.
You're going to scare away a lot of potential women that way who just are quite timid and aren't the people you're trying to filter out, but are you're going to. I can imagine it just seems pretty harsh.
I want to take Harry to a strip club and get him to say it to a stripper.
That'd be kind of sick, actually. That'd be awesome.
A very short.
It is exactly what would happen, though. Somebody would pay for a dance for him. The girl would go over, and he'd be like, "Fuck off, whore," and he'd pull his Bible out. He'd sit there reading his Bible. This is literally what he told us he'd do.
That's kind of based.
I don't know. I don't know. I can imagine they get people like that, not all the time, but often enough that one of them at least could sit down and have a conversation with them about, like, I don't know, like take him on an intellectual level. I'm not saying win, but I don't know. I reckon there's some. There could be some
Like
sort
you're
of
gonna
to
get
throw there.
strippers going on about theology. That sounds fun.
I went on about a few things that were completely random and weird to be going on about.
Fuck, I'd go to a strip club.
Yeah,
if I
but
could,
did that
like,
make you
have good
sound more
theological
interesting than-
conversations?
I don't know. I didn't know what to fucking do. It was like, do you talk to him? Do you don't? No, of course you don't fucking talk to him. But I didn't think that at the time. I was just like, okay, this is weird.
Oh, you
hello.
you can at the bar
And then John
they're,
Crow told him what I did for a living, and then it was like, okay, this has just got even weirder because they started rambling about fucking astrology and the bloody star signs, and it was like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Oh no! I didn't realize that's how it started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a friend who's like really into astrology shit. Spoiler alert, it's a guy and he's gay.
I don't know. I mean, if they're into astrology but they're not flat earthers, they're probably the best of the two, at least.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Flat
like,
earthers are funny.
Like, go all
My
in.
uncle's a flat earther.
Yeah?
Yes, he has some
I don't think I've
interesting
got any of my
takes.
flat earthers in my family. Although I wonder, I mean, honestly, how many flat earthers are there out there that are like, you know, like closet flat earthers? You know what I mean? They just don't come out and tell people. I reckon there's probably quite a few.
I don't. It's not something you tend to go up and ask people, is it? What shape do you think the Earth
No.
is? Everybody just assumes everybody else is kind of like.
We need one of those
Yeah.
YouGov polls, and we'll find out that 72%.
God. I don't know if I want to know. Actually, it would be depressing.
Yeah. I agree. But
I think a lot of it comes, particularly with my uncle, it comes from a massive distrust in, like, quite rightfully, distrust in what the mainstream narrative is. He literally is just reject all of it. He sees that they're lying to us, and therefore just says no to anything. Unless
Well,
he's
frankly,
seen it with his own two eyes, he's just like, nope.
Well, the thing is, if you'd adopted that particular point of view like 2 years ago, frankly, right now you'd be winning. You know, like there's no two ways about it. Like it just seems to be even more than ever that what you know, yesterday's conspiracy theory is tomorrow's truth, and but people just report it and just pretend they never said something else before, which is just weird.
Yeah, there's no.
So, yeah, I can understand where he's coming from.
continuation with it. It's as though there's like mass Alzheimer's, mass dementia.
Yeah.
Like people just don't remember stuff, or they don't add it up.
Although I've heard similar arguments taken to like the end. Oh God, what the hell's that? Sorry, I've just found something on my. All right. Sorry, I've just found some blood on my head, so I must have cut myself when I shaved earlier. Damn it! Fuck's sake! All I want is a flat head, but no, I've got fucking bumps and everything everywhere. Anyway,
flathead like
that's it. That's it. Brilliant. But no, I had this chat with someone who was, I forget exactly what his point was, but he was going on about the fact that, like, you know, none of us really know anything. So, like, you know, how do you know that, you know, this part of physics works like that? And you'd be in a good place to answer that more than me, because I failed A-level physics. But essentially, he came back to the fact that you can technically never believe anything unless unless you've seen it or you can prove it yourself. But in order to do that, then if you take that to a degree, you'll never, you know, you'd never understand why if you can't get the full concept of how a combustion engine works, why would you believe it was real? And it's just like, but I guess at least he can see that. So
problem is a lot of people don't make the connections. When if a scientist comes along and tells you a thing, the ones who are the shitheads who just say the thing and don't explain it, and expect you to believe it. They're no different to a priest. And then when they follow up with trust the science, it's like trust in the Lord. It's like
It depends on the priest, right? Like some of them are actually familiar enough with theology to explain it.
I'm just sort of it's the ones that aren't. I mean, yeah, you could make the same thing with the priest as well. The priest who explains it to you is somebody worth listening to because at least there's going to be something meaningful behind it. But like the ones who expect you to have faith just because, just follow along because I said so. Anybody who's like that is a like they're not worth listening to.
Yeah, that's actually extremely frustrating to me since I'm like actually aware of the rich intellectual tradition of the church, so to speak. Like fucking Aquinas is like based as shit, and the fact that like adults when teaching religion to kids like cannot convey that information or are too lazy to is like really frustrating to me.
Yeah, it's the same with the I find it maybe the similar level of frustration as you have with the theological side of it, but if it's scientific, don't even need that detail of an explanation. It's like point to a thing that shows us it functioning or the principles functioning.
Yeah, this is where
like
simple
if you want to know
really
why the stuff of like why do things spin around, they go around planets, like they all spin around it. Like why have they got a sideways trajectory? It's because as stuff is oscillating a little bit and it falls towards something, it gains speed because of conservation of energy. It's got less distance to go, but the energy's got to go. So like when somebody's spinning and they pull their arms in and they spin faster, that's why debris ends up going around planets and then coalesces into bigger shit. But if you just say like, oh, stuff goes around the sun. Why? Well, it just does because of gravity and shit. It's like, what? There's nothing there. You're not pointing to anything tangible that I can see that makes that worth accepting as a possible principle.
I think the problem I have is that so if a physicist wants to, if I ask a physicist, like a science teacher, how something works, he may well take a book off the shelf and explain to me, use it to explain to me, some aspect. But the problem is
doing with the book?
That requires the book to be correct.
If he takes the book and drops it and uses it.
Alright, sorry to keep you waiting.
Yeah.
I'll move on to the next thing, because I'm pretty sure you'll have got everything out of this possible.
Well, we weren't talking about that. We've moved on to other things.
We had moved on, yeah. We had the assumption, but the assumption there would be that the source he's using, the book, to help explain it, is in itself correct.
Train. Let's talk about trains. So, what train?
No, not again. Not like last.
Abandoned rusty trains in UK. Abandoned trains.
Well, guys, here's the other problem to all of this, though, right? Is that it's like, say you can see it, right? Or whatever, understand, like empirically verify something. How do you know that your senses and your memory are actually reliable?
Because it's worked for everything else, and that's what matters.
Okay, how do you know
outside of that, it doesn't really matter.
How do you know that inductive reasoning is reliable? And how do you really know that it's worked for everything else? If
results.
You can't prove your memory is reliable.
The reliability is demonstrated as time goes by, where there are things.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like you assume that based on you thinking about the past, but how do you even know that your memory of the past is reliable enough to say that a thing is consistently worked?
Because it's consistent with everything else. You're making this really abstract argument that it just isn't necessary. It is. If it is consistent with everything, then it's worth following. Like that. That's where that point
is.
I can
give two answers.
Yeah, sure, but you're still making an assumption. You're making an a priori.
So what else are you gonna do?
There's two answers.
Well, I'm not disagreeing. I'm not saying we should.
Yeah, but it's whether it's an assumption that it is on solid basis of consistency, and that
sure.
is.
I'm just saying that it's an assumption we all rely on.
So
it's reliable if it's been consistent.
One answer to this ends up being, if you just boil it down, is that we must be living in a simulation, and anything can be changed in our memories at any time. But if that's the case, there's nothing you can do about it. So you might as well just pretend it doesn't exist.
Great, you might
And
as
that's
well
one
have
thing. And then
you might as well have a faith in
and then the other one is there is an episode of Stargate that I think got brought up in one of the podcasts. I ended up going back and watching it, and it's quite interesting because it's I'm not that it's an answer, but it's quite interesting because they go to a world that's managed by a computer system that has access to everyone's memories in order to manage the population. And it turns out that the world is slowly dying, and the computer, in order to save everyone, or as many people as can, has to kill off people. But then what it does is it alters everyone's memories, so they don't remember that person existed, or that person, they thought that person died years ago, and consequently, and of course, when the outside team turn up and they start asking questions, and then like the next day they're like, oh, how's your mum? And she's like, I don't have a mum. She died when I was, when I was really young. She's like, no, I spoke to her yesterday. She was, she used to work in that shop over there. And that shop hasn't been open for months. And it was quite interesting concept, but So if either we live in a simulation and that's the answer, or we don't. But if we do, there's nothing we can do about it, unless we can try and make computers even faster than the calculations that the computers that run the simulation run on, which is unlikely. So we might as well just pretend it's not a simulation and just do the best we can. Just
have
the
most nerdy thing I've ever said ever. Just have the Talos mindset in what's it called, Elder Scrolls lore of, yes, we are in a simulation, but I am real. Fuck you. I'm going to ascend to godhood. The Chad Talos mindset.
Because you want to be God, don't you, Harry?
Well, the
No.
simulation.
You're an absolute narcissist.
No, I'm just saying it's a case of have the
Simulation
most confidence of, no, I am real. I don't care if you say I'm a simulation, and you present all of the evidence in front of me. I'm real because fuck you.
Therefore, I am.
Yes.
Yeah. Based Descartes.
Well, the simulation idea doesn't really work anyway, because what you have to then ask is if the person running the simulation is themselves in the simulation, and it's a never-ending thing that goes backwards. So the most obvious answer is no, because if you if you
like
can't,
you can just put your faith in the reliability of things and the reliability of reason, but you are choosing to put your faith in something.
I do have some bad news. I will let you guys go on, but when you get to the end of this debate, and I'm going to enjoy listening to it, we have the most trash tier story that we could possibly ever go over, that might just make people want to blow their brains out. So get your alcohol ready to dull the pain for when we get to that story.
Oh, I'd love to, but it's like 9 in the morning, so not gonna.
We have a question that's come in about which kind of relates to what we've been talking about. David Taylor asks, do we reckon the moon landings were faked?
The only evidence I've seen is, a shadow is pointing slightly differently, but that could literally just be a case of
not pointing at anything.
Yeah, the only evidence I've ever seen for it is just I don't really buy it personally. That's really it. That's all I've got to say, really.
Well, it's actually. Any of you guys see that really cringy clip from this black professor who's arguing that that he doesn't believe that space exists because he's like, name a black person who's been to space.
Oh my god!
Students just like, what the fuck are you talking about?
The Cubans did it. They sent the Soviets did it. They sent a Cuban to space during the Cold War. They were the first people to send a black man to space.
I mean, it's just fucking bizarre.
Because socialists trying to be like, oh look, we're diverse, but the Soviet Union was not. Like they had to go to Cuba to get a black person. Like, we're gonna stick you in stick you on a new ICBM and light the end of it and blast you up to the sky as a propaganda move, as a fuck you to the slave-owning capitalist Americans.
Yes, Raymond, my microphone is loud. Deal with it. Oh. General voice text, you basically said that my microphone's loud. I have no idea how to fix it, fuck you.
So you just shouted into it.
Yeah.
Well, that's useful, isn't it?
I don't know how to fix it, therefore you shall suffer more. It's your
Do you
problem
have
now,
a gain?
not mine.
Can you turn the gain down? Do you have a gain?
You know, exactly. When someone tells you to turn your mic down, you tell them to fuck off and that they're a whore.
Shut up! No, but I'm looking forward to just the life and will to live just straight out of us as we go over the horse story. I'm looking forward to it.
Hello, Raymond.
Oh,
Raymond.
no.
Oh, Raymond's
What
gone.
is that headline?
Raymond hopped in and he fucked off.
Right.
But was this reality star faking a kidnapping? Like, sex trafficking's so real, I have to fake it.
That's amazing, isn't it?
No, it is real though. It's fucked up.
Yep. So
It's like refugees trying to escape from North Korea and they get sex trafficked across China and then have to escape through
China.
bloody
oh my god!
Mongolia and then
Look at that. She's done her fucking makeup. Out of context, that sounds.
Charged for anything. Let's have a look.
So I'm probably gonna butcher this fucker's name, but she doesn't deserve it. She doesn't deserve the real name. I don't care. Reality star Masakai
Kalishka
caught the attention
Kalisha.
of fans
Massacre
on
Kalisha.
Tuesday when she posted a lingerie chat video faking her own kidnapping and asking payments for her OnlyFans so to be let go. Jesus Christ!
Very
Right.
glad.
Well, that's when you tell her that she's a whore and that she should fuck off.
Well, I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong.
Be scary.
This
I want to see Harry at a strip club and a stripper come over to her and he say that to her.
Like, I'd have the Holy Bible to protect me from this degeneracy. 33-year-old actress.
She'd lose
Jesus
that
hang out
again
with
in no
prostitutes.
time.
What was that?
Did Jesus hang out with prostitutes?
Fair point.
Sure, but he didn't fuck them.
No, that's what I'm saying. You don't fuck them at a strip club. You just hang out with them for a bit.
Well, yeah. So that's sort of like in the same way that there's a difference between hanging out with someone and getting a lap
You can
dance
just.
from someone.
Yeah, you're being Jesus-like if you
sit
sit
at the
there
bar
and
with
just
them.
like, okay, I ain't doing shit.
It's expensive, but you can.
Yeah, I'd talk with
Oh,
a
no.
stripper about theology. Why not?
Why not?
See that.
Well, you might find one of them studying it. I mean, the ones I came across, at least a couple of them were students there. So, well, at least they said they were
Tom
students.
Crow
I mean,
asked one
obviously,
what she did, and she says, "I'm a stripper."
So I'm going to be honest here on this. If I give my take on this, it'll probably be the most misogyny that has ever existed on the internet.
It'll be the shortest
Unlikely.
podcast so far, I think.
You're not ISIS, so
Effectively, it's a case of if this is what. Do I really want to say this? Honestly, a part of me does. If this is what women do,
say some Islamic words as you say it, and it'll be fine.
Allah, praise be Allah, praise be Allah.
praise
Muhammad
God,
did nothing wrong. Allahu Akbar. There, we're covered. What's it called?
Yeah.
So here's the thing. If this is what women are going to do when they've been given essentially the right to use the internet as freely as possible, maybe this needs to be taken away from them until they fucking behave again.
No, the internet is supposed to be the Wild West. It's part of it. You've seen how many fucking hookers are in those Old West movies?
I'm just so disgusted by it. That's the problem that I'm getting. It's just I feel so many levels of disgust that I'm just there like I want the whole world to burn down when I see this shit.
Harry, I'm curious. Have you ever have you followed Noland Knows at all?
What the hell's that?
Teacher? That's the professor from Eton who got yeeted for the patriarchy video.
You'll have to link it to me.
Right, he says a lot of like
in that
really
position with her
basic
face
shit
out
about, like,
and just a tit showing.
masculinity and patriarchy. It's fucking hilarious and awesome.
So
I've been reading a lot of like his shit on my masculinity
Nice.
work.
So she made like makeup bruising or something, and essentially just tried to essentially dress up in a sex trafficking set of underwear, I guess. And oh my god, I fucking hate this. I am not opening the 10 fucking photos of gallery. Fuck off. Fuck off, you whore. You disgusting, degenerate slut.
Has she got OnlyFans? Let's go for OnlyFans.
I'm not clicking on anything. Fuck this bitch. Die alone, surrounded by cats, starving to death because you can no longer walk when your children would have provided for you and helped you if you had a fucking wholesome relationship. Die alone, old, crinkly, and unloved, you fucking disgusting whore.
No, Harry.
Come on, Harry. Just tell
Come
us how
on,
you
Harry,
really
tell us.
I'd be happy. She's just a good, she's a good actor.
Here's the thing,
She might get loads of money, she'd be happy.
like, this shit, like, whores like this will be the death of culture if it's not just completely just shamed into oblivion. It needs to, the shaming, the power of moral shaming has to come back. This disgusting degenerate filth.
If they're just full of contraceptives all the time, the problem will eventually take care of itself. They won't have children, they won't reproduce, and their shitty values will stay as a fragment of population.
They'll affect the education system and the internet, you know. They will reproduce ideologically through memetics.
They reproduce the same way that WWIIs reproduce. Essentially, that's the problem that I have with whores and leftists, is they can't have their own offspring, so they lay an egg inside someone else's offspring and then just let that.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay. Like, unironically,
the problem there is that is them reproducing in your example, so their genes are spreading. They are not spreading their genes; they're spreading their ideas, which are not as infectious as like fully as the genes. You can get rid of the ideas, you can't get rid of the genes if their genes are already there.
You know what? It's not the perfect analogy, but it's the analogy that I came for. Basically, they can't reproduce naturally, so they have to reproduce by coming for your kids. You have kids, whereas they have your kids, effectively. And that's literally how WWIIs, a lot of WWIIs
they're
operate.
still your kids because genetically they're still yours.
Don't know how much time she has. Fuck. This is making me want to beat her, just because of how disgusting this is.
Harry, did you say that's how orcs reproduce? Is that what I heard?
Woodpeckers.
I think I may have misspoke or something. No, but this is making me want to hit her, so she has something to really fucking cry about because this is so disgusting.
Yeah, her face is horrible.
Like, this doesn't even fucking look pretty. Like, if she actually gets kidnapped for real, nobody pay her ransom. Jesus Christ, I feel bad for the kidnappers in that case if that happens.
Yeah, they wouldn't give her a ransom, they just sell her they just prostitute her out.
Yeah.
It should be the one that, like, oh, you haven't got much today, well, you can have her.
Please tell me that no one actually fell for this. And they beat me real bad, guys. Please help. She pleads to the camera with... Oh my god.
And they beat me real bad. That sounds unbelievable. Oh shit. I'm committing a cardinal sin by not believing whammon.
Believe all whammon.
You gotta believe whammon.
You need to repeat it. Believe all whammon. Believe all. Like you repeat it enough, then apparently it makes it true.
What the fuck? Where's her hair? Is this Jada Smith? Oh my god!
And the cock is there in the background as well.
Right.
That was such beautifully timed. I love that. No, but the thing is a case of this. This is why you should have someone like anyone who wants to try this kind of shit. Don't bother with the makeup. It doesn't look realistic. Honestly, Jesus Christ.
That looks like a rash, if anything. Oh yeah, speaking of which, at some point we need Harry to go on a rant about Jada Smith, because I'm sure it'll be beautiful.
I don't actually know anything about Jada Smith. I've taken the Chad position of I don't care about your celebrity bollocks, and I just don't know. And so you'd have to tell me, and then you get the rant as I start learning about it.
She's makeup on her lip where her lip would actually be swollen if she was really hit there.
There's no way that you would not rant about it, so just let me know what it is.
The Christian autistic moral screeching will continue.
Yes.
Oh my fucking god. Oh no.
On Harry.
I'm going to move on to what her rationale was for faking this.
Yeah, sorry. Am I taking too long on this? Just reading through it and getting more disgusted? Now I've got your attention.
Too much. You love being disgusted, don't you? That's why you want to linger on it for so long.
Shut up.
No. Oh no. Oh, I'm going to take pictures for this later.
I've done a lot of research, and I've had a... Nope. Where's her fucking rationality? This just keeps going. How long is this, actually?
Like, you're asking a crazy OnlyFans whore to be rational.
It's above...
How rational, man.
Where?
It's up a bit. It's I think it's above this picture. Hold on.
Though she does not apologise for making the...
Now I've got your attention. I want to talk about something very important.
Ukraine.
Sorry for scared you, but there needs to be some shock factor. I'm on a set now, filming a new show. I'm in makeup. I'm totally fine. Oh, okay. But working
because there isn't one.
Fuck this hole.
Where am I wrong?
Fuck her lots.
Wait. It's she's trying to raise awareness of a non-profit.
Sorry.
You know how much you hate reading this. You're spending a lot of time doing it. Though.
Sorry, I'm just essentially getting it. So this is effectively how I feel about all of this. This universe is how I feel right now. If it plays.
Shut it down. Shut it all down. Hey, you're the boss.
It's effectively how I feel about that. I'm not sure who sent this story in though.
Cost of wood. This must be Vulkan.
This was Vulkan. Is he actually here?
No, he ordered a pizza, which sounded like a euphemism at the time. And I feel like it's more about the euphemism because he didn't come back, and I think you can come back and eat your pizza, but he didn't.
The man
So it
slut.
must have been a prostitute.
He's still logged in. Okay. Highland prices might not come down. Oh, I actually watched this, so I can probably.
So do you want to watch it then? Should we press play, ladies and gentlemen?
Well, it's 12 minutes long, so I wouldn't.
So what can we take from
I'll give you the
from what
cliff
it is? We know the price of wood has gone up, and Vulcan's not here to explain it, so it's his own fault. So it's the same with everything else. Inflation's fucking screwing everybody. And the inflation is there as basically a stealth tax because the government we won't raise your taxes, but we'll just print more money to make your money worth less. That puts more money into our pockets, so it's a tax. It's a way that they can steal your money without stealing your money.
The additional argument that's put here is that because of trade issues across the world, there's also a limit on the ability to buy or access old tools. So you used to be able to buy either really old tools that you could easily be cheaply be repaired, or you could buy, if you like, second-rate tools from across the world that would do the job and allow people to sort of, especially the lower end of the market, sort of come in and learn new skills. Whereas now, the cost of tools has also gone up, and so the cost of actually going into business to do this or to continue business or to learn the trade has gone from being super cheap to.
You'll own nothing, and you'll be happy, and you won't even know how to build anything because you can't own anything, so you can't build it to own.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
It's at that point when I start considering eating the neighbours. I will not be one of the pod people. I will consume the pod people.
Do a bit on that.
I will eat my neighbor's ass if I have to. I'm not letting my daughter starve. I will eat my neighbor's ass.
Bit of a Chad move, if I'm honest with you. It's like, I shall not starve. I shall eat you, pod people. You will disgust me.
This is another reason to keep pigs, I guess.
I'm not letting my daughter starve. You understand me?
So, seeing as Vulcan's not here, we can move on then to the next one. No complaints. I did actually see that Carb said that we're moving on without him, so I'm sorry about that one, Vulcan. Not Vulcan, sorry, Carb. Jeez. Fucking hell, I'm getting names mixed up, sorry.
Okay.
So this is the one that at the start, this is the one at the start that a certain plague gave us, a certain second plague. So let's see let's see what this is.
Long list of foreign policy failures and contradictions in the last few years, including, of course, the bombing of Libya, the desire to arm the rebels in Syria, has been the unnecessary provocation of Vladimir Putin. This EU empire, ever seeking to expand, stated its territorial claim on the Ukraine some years ago. Just to make that worse, of course, some NATO members said they too would like the Ukraine to join NATO. We directly encouraged the uprising in the Ukraine that led to the toppling of the President Yanukovych, and that led, of course, in turn to Vladimir Putin reacting. And the moral of the story is, if you poke the Russian bear with a stick, don't be surprised when he reacts. Now,
where's he wrong, though?
To continue with that, today we are rushing through an association agreement at undue speed with the Ukraine, and as we speak, there are NATO soldiers engaged in military exercises in the Ukraine. Have we taken leave of our senses? Do we actually want to have a war with Putin? Because if we do, we're certainly going about it the right way. Perhaps we ought to recognise that the West now faces the biggest threat and crisis to our way of life that we have seen for over 70 years. The recent beheadings of the British and American hostages graphically illustrates the problem. And of course we have our own citizens from our own countries engaged in that struggle too. In the war against Islamic extremism, Vladimir Putin, whatever we may think of him as a human being, is actually on our side. I suggest we grow up. I suggest we recognise the real threat facing all of our countries, communities and societies. We stop playing war games in the Ukraine and we start to prepare a plan to help countries like Syria, like Iraq, like Kenya, like indeed Nigeria, to try and help them to deal with the real threat that faces us. Let's not go on provoking Putin, whether we like him or not.
Subscribe to the Fox News YouTube channel to catch our nightly open
takes from
stories that
Farrell.
are
So,
It's funny 'cause
based
that was
red-pilled as always. Go ahead, guys.
It's from fucking
I need your
2014.
permission, Harry. Nobody talks now.
Based barrage.
It fucking is based in red-pilled, though, every time. Every fucking time. Without fail. It's just painful. It's just... Oh, yeah. It's just painful, though. It's a case of, because the EU and NATO cannot get itself out of this mindset of the Cold War Russians. It's like, okay, look, things change over time. It's like there's this weird place called China that's more worrying, and then there's, as he put out, all the stuff about Islamic extremism, and it's like maybe we can just better focus our time on other, more important problems, but they just can't fucking do it. It's embarrassing.
It's kind of weird because we sort of Europe has now got to the point where it feels that collectively it can push neighbouring countries around for its own whims, whereas previously we didn't have that problem because people. It's almost like in coming together, they've become more of a threat to other countries than when they were just bickering with each other.
The thing with that
the
is
European superpower. It was Hitler's dream, and to be a very influential nation. And it's been achieved just without him, and with the colours blue instead of red.
Well, yeah, but
that's the funny part.
It is quite funny. Yeah, because I mean, even what Osama bin Laden's plan was to provoke America to ultimately bankrupt them. I mean, he must be laughing now because he's basically he's dead. But ignoring that fact, he'll be laughing now because that's exactly what he's achieved. He's managed to get them to spend billions and billions, and now they're gonna inflate their way out of being a world power, which is pretty much what his plan was all along. And they've done as much of it to themselves as they have to him. It's just weird. It's just bizarre. It's absolutely bizarre. I think it's tricky. NATO. Well, ironically, Putin has in fact made NATO look necessary just by invading a non-NATO country again. But the flip side is that I think we probably just have to eject America out of NATO, because America is able to use its the money it has to try and cede power in other governments and generally fuck Russia and other people off.
America
But
out of
every
NATO,
time they
then
come
where's
back,
money coming from? They fund the majority of all. Who's funding NATO?
But that's
if you
fine.
get
But that's
rid of
NATO's
America?
problem. The problem is when
They're not gonna
Russia
do
tries
it.
to react. When Russia tries to react, America can always pull the shield of NATO in front of them and say, "Oh no, you can't do that." Whereas if they were just not in NATO, then they would have to make their own way. And they're a large
NATO
independent
exists.
nation.
If
They can do
America
that
pulled out,
themselves.
it wouldn't. If
Well,
America
what I
came out
think
of
we should
NATO,
do,
this wouldn't exist.
we should create two things. First of all, we should create the ability for someone to leave NATO and and them to nominate another nation to take their place. And then I think America should leave NATO, and I think they should just nominate Taiwan to replace them.
Why do you have to do a one for one?
And if they did that,
I don't think necessarily you need
because
to do a one for
Taiwan
one.
is what actually needs protecting.
Oh well, that's
Why
true.
do you have to replace that? That means people could be stuck by not leaving because we can't see anybody want to replace them with.
Well, no, I mean, I think America should.
Members. You want more members, but how do you do that? You got to delete somebody first to get a new member, or what if you want one as well as?
I think we need Taiwan in NATO. I think we
really
need America
bizarre
out of
thing
NATO.
to do is to give that one for one thing in it.
I think giving up your place for someone who's more who probably needs the protection of NATO more is not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah, but why would that doesn't make sense to be giving up your place? Like as a thing to say that there's only this number of seats at the table.
No,
That's
it's
not
not
how
that
a
it's that,
treaty
it's just-
organization would work. That makes no sense. That's a really dumb thing to do.
But I think America needs to not be in NATO because they're using us as a shield for all their operations. So they do a clandestine operation, and then it's not them who's going to be on the verge. I mean, technically, they have to go in with us, but they've also got the convenience of being thousands of miles away. And short of any nuclear war, they can choose to do as much or as little as they like. I think NATO has to stand on its own 2 feet, on its own funding, and I don't think it needs. I think America, quasi running it from the background, we've just become another pawn of America, and I don't think that's going to help anybody. I don't think anyone's, the only person who's making any money out of this is Joe Biden and his crackhead son, and I don't think that's the way this is supposed to go down.
The thing is with that as well is a lot of America, like in terms of international history, at a certain point effectively becomes childish. You know, when you're a kid, and there's always that argument, well, I'm older than you, therefore you have to listen to what I say, because we listen to the teachers and we listen to the to our parents because they're older. Therefore, because I'm a month older than you, I'm right and you have to listen to everything I say. Well, replace I'm older, therefore I'm right with I have more guns, therefore I'm right. And that is more or less America's sort of international...
Yeah, that one is true. I'm older is not. Again, we said this earlier, violence is the ultimate form of authority.
Yes, but what I'm getting at though, what I'm getting at though is when they're in the Middle East, because I'm just going to describe generic Middle East country and how sort of accurate does this sound to how many countries.
Real racist, Harry. You're going to be really racist right now. Just
this country doesn't have democracy. Well, here we're going to liberate you, and we have brought you democracy by killing this stable government. Yay! We have fixed the world. And it's a case of this doesn't. I'm sorry, but it's a case of it took Europe and America literally hundreds and hundreds of years to get to a point where democracy would work. You can't just use more.
It still doesn't work. It's still bullshit.
Yeah. So it's just trying to fast forward that and just be like, yeah, but we have more guns and more bullets, therefore we can just make anything happen. It's like it feels.
Because that's how it actually works.
It feels very childish to do that.
Also, you can't implement a democracy in a country that has an average IQ of less than 90. It's just never been done successfully. So that's the other thing people seem to forget.
How do you measure IQ?
Yeah, have you guys seen the Afghanistan soldiers doing jumping jacks?
The thing is with that as well is with I
They're
actually,
all high on fucking opioids.
yeah, you got to it before I could. It's
That's not a test of IQ, but it might as well. But yeah, it's still fucking hilarious.
Can you get off the opioids long enough to do a fucking warm up exercise? No, I need to take more opioids. It's like, okay, that's really fucking helpful. Why can't you shoot for shit because opioids? Well, why not just stop taking them? Yeah, but how about no? Because they feel good. It's like you have to.
I'll shit myself.
They
and
do,
feel
though.
like
You ever
shit all the
done
time.
opioids?
That's why. That's why they don't want to get off them once they're on there. They constipate the fuck out of you. So as soon as you stop, you're sat on the loo for fucking ages. People want to throw up, and they'll just.
There is a certain
Actually, you know what the biggest one of the biggest downsides of opioids is? Erectile dysfunction.
I didn't know that.
This answers many. This answers many questions about the Middle East. Actually, I'm not going to lie.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's like, have any of you ever been on like prescribed painkillers and then tried
No.
to jerk it? Like, it just doesn't like. It's much more difficult to keep it up.
No, you know, like the
a lot of
joke.
these people are they're not the first son in the family, so they're unlikely to get married anyway. So that's almost not a problem for them, ironically. Because remember, they've got you've got a one-to-many relationship when it comes to getting married out there. But if you're not the firstborn, you generally don't see anything, and you're unless you can carve out your own glory, you're unlikely to get married anyway. So I'm not saying they found a way to fix that problem. I'm just saying it's maybe not quite as they've got other factors that come into that.
Like yeah, it just answers a few questions about the Middle East. If they can't essentially just get it up one, it's like, oh well, maybe if I have 5 wives, certainly it'll solve the problem. It's like, no, it's still an issue. Stop taking the opioids.
Someone get it up for me.
You need one woman to hold it up, another woman to. It's like, okay, no, just get off the fucking opioids. Problem solved.
But of course, if you have 5 wives, then that's 4 other men that are never going to get married.
Oh, that as well.
Out there, that's.
Yeah, but they're going to
When,
die.
you know-
They're going to die in a war. That's
Yeah,
how
probably a religious
population.
war.
That's how
That's
populations are
the way-
controlled. Is we go to war, and the men are reduced, and the women are.
Yes.
A few men will go and impregnate a few. One man will go and impregnate several women.
Might be part of the reason why there's so many jihadists. Honestly.
Oh, renames is here. You need to turn yourself up, I think, and we could go back to your Louis Levant and Sargon discussion if you wanted to comment on that.
Yeah, because we essentially had this idea where we were going to not go over it unless you arrived, and then we could go back. So
Which discussion is it?
let me find it.
The All Glory to the Chancellor stream.
I mean, I know. I think did I post that here? Actually, I probably
Yes,
did.
you did, unless I'm mistaken.
You didn't comment it to say. I think at the time, I think it was still premiering, so I don't think you could have commented on it.
Let me look on this.
'Cause,
So, news links. Oh, someone's posted another news link.
I mean, I don't necessarily need to comment on it. I think it was an interesting conversation. And Louis is quite the.
Well,
his streams full game.
Louis
He's
needs
very.
to sort out his mic because every time he goes psycho, he just screams into the mic, and it became unpleasant to listen to. I think I gave up
Best
after
part
about
when he's
40
going
minutes.
psycho. Come on, that's the good part.
Wait, who was screaming into the mic?
Shit. Actually, hang on. One thing that did actually
No, Harry.
sorry. I was looking through something.
I asked who was screaming into the mic, and then
Louis Levant.
Louis Levant.
Oh yeah, not yeah. Oh, he missed
Yeah.
that one. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. He's he's a guy who streams the car every now and then, and does some other stuff too, probably. But I don't really care about that. So.
And it can be quite funny as well, but it was just tiring on my ears. Frankly, I couldn't listen to the second half of it at least.
So
Yeah, this is.
I
this is
apologize
absolutely
for that
terrible.
outburst. But I did actually when I was trying to get the everything ready for the podcast, I did actually miss this one, and I refound this. This is another sort of the final horror story.
You like your horror stories, don't you?
No, I just like documenting just why essentially just the ego death of culture. Unironically, in the Discord, the Not Safe for Work channel ego death of culture is my favorite because I just love examples of just shit that just fits in just a title, The Ego Death of Culture. So, it was a news article that was originally on The Guardian, and it was like an article thing, an opinion piece.
It's actually real.
Knowledge everything you need to know.
Yeah.
Just read this. Someone read this. So, it's just pain.
Bizarrely, I can only find it listed. I can't see the actual article.
I'll read out this title because I wasn't able to get anything other than just this. Like it was taken down, which was a shame. Well, actually, not really a shame, but you know what I mean. This article is titled "I fantasize about group sex with old obese men. The idea of being passed around." Oh my god, this.
Can't people just keep this shit in their heads?
Exactly. This
Like,
is why it's the
everybody's
ego
got a
death of
fucking
culture.
Weird whatever.
Let me see if chat is
Like,
just screaming.
if it exists, somebody's into it.
Yeah.
You see, that's why people like that are whores.
I'm not wrong.
Just keep it in your head or in a private room. Don't go writing a fucking article about it on the internet.
Exactly. It's like, what is this
I think
world
someone's got a copy of it.
Oh no.
Hold on. I think I might. Oh no. I'm just trying to find the full article, but maybe it. Okay, I'll keep looking.
If you,
I just.
This is why I said before it's time to get out the alcohol ready to shoot yourself. Oh my god.
Shoot yourself with alcohol? Just take too many shots.
Second, though, for a much better story, I am glad that you mentioned Mulan earlier, because anyone got any complaints about going over a topic as that?
No.
Disney.
I found the article.
Send it in. We'll go over that first.
Okay, just in links for podcast, yeah?
Yeah.
You're right, it is hidden, but it's just been the links for it have been taken down, but it's still actually on the. It is from 2013 though, so it's not recent. But I mean, it's still terrible. Don't get me wrong.
It fucking is.
I feel like I'm defending it.
It's like the more you look at it, the more dirty you feel.
Do you know what? I'd feel bad about?
What?
Being the model they decided to use for that picture. I would sue. I would fucking sue. I know it says here, I feel guilty photograph by, Getty Images. But, I'd be like, no. As, can you imagine you go into that photo shoot and little do you know that, 5 years later or whatever, they've decided that that's what you're good for. An article about being passed around by obese men.
I would fucking sue, actually. Yeah, I wouldn't blame her if she did.
That's when you know your modelling career was an utter waste of time.
You're leaving dirty pictures around the internet. It's your own fault at that point.
Yeah.
Well, that's not even a great picture, to be honest. So.
The uglier, the better. I fantasize about being passed around by several of them. The thing that really turns me on, do not take this out of context, you fuckers. The thing that really turns me on is the idea of having to lift up their stomach and search. I'm gonna be sick.
Oh no.
Oh no!
This is a joke I make about. This is like a joke I make about fat women. Like, if you need a stick to prop up the fat, so you can look for something's probably wrong. This is terrible.
That's what Doom would like.
there was one time when Cypher was essentially talking about how she hates fat bitches, because essentially it's a case of there are fat bitches who they're like, oh, I'm thick, aren't I attractive? And it's like this. And I think she said something along the lines of, no, men like curves, those are rolls, and rolls are fat, and that's what this woman wants. But for the male body, and oh my god, I can't.
Fat King. Wait, guys, is it Fat King Spring?
Oh no! Oh, no.
Fucking degeneracy.
It is maximum degeneracy.
This woman? What happened to this woman? What childhood incident happened to
She
bring her
had
to
a
where
modelling
she is.
career and it went to shit, and she got put on a.
I love the
an arse
idea
like
that
this.
it's just none of us can even imagine someone just not having childhood trauma that leads to this. Oh my god.
Fantasies develop in different ways. They are generated from real events or images.
Oh no.
While others are creative imaginings that arise
Real
through
event.
need, longing,
That makes sense.
or even trauma. Yeah, I think trauma is probably. I think in one word, trauma.
Yep.
Is probably just a summary.
That's probably found it right there.
Considering searching for the root, one aspect to fantasy might be relevant is the fact that the imagined men are not really ready for sex. Oh, I don't know. I think fat men are ready for sex. I think if anything, they're over ready.
Desperate.
Somehow you
Looking
develop
for
a
it.
turn on that keeps you safe.
Oh my god, this is not safe. Like just the
No, she just has to go to a swingers party to find out how this works. Surely. I can't imagine it'd be much more complicated than that.
No, she just needs to go to a Warhammer convention. That will also work.
An over 50s, over 50s swingers party, and that's it. She can get this. That I don't.
I hate all of this.
Sponsored by Greg's.
Sponsored by Greg. Okay, for anyone not aware, Greg's is like the.
Sorry, Anglo. Perhaps men.
But
perceive
what about
touch-
pom bears?
Oh no.
I haven't talked about pom bears in a while.
He might have finally gotten off the addiction. Who knows?
I haven't seen the
Well,
prawn cocktail one sold for quite a while, actually.
If you guys want a palate cleanser from this bullshit, I have a good 10-minute just funny Sam Hyde video. You guys might have seen it, but
We can have a palate cleanser. I am hoping it's probably going to be really autistic. The Mulan thing is what I'm hoping will be a palate cleanser, because shit like this is definitely a black pill. It's just some woman just being there like
Have you read the last line? So your fantasy is not the product of a sick mind, but maybe a clever creative exercise designed to help assuage. What the hell is that word? Anyone help me?
assuage sexual
Assuage.
fear and
Assuage
negative.
sexual fear and a negative body image. I mean, that's it. You don't know. She could be a whale herself. You don't know, because obviously you only see the Getty image for context, which is not really context at all. But I'm thinking she isn't, because she seems to at least acknowledge that she's obviously younger, and presumably she's not obese because she's othering them to start with. So you have to get the impression that she's probably none of those things. Yeah. Not that she's necessarily a 10, but she's not like a 2. So
Jesus Christ.
It's
exactly.
You know. I wish I had. Give me a second. Where is it? Something I left in the bar meetup thing. Give me a second. Open the fucking image, you twat. There we go.
this is why we need to make Harry King and have him implement his standards.
So
across the
I
entire
wish I
world.
had a full one of these, of just filled to the brim with cider, then I could just drink it to drown out the memory. Just however much that is, it's just just drink away the sorrows of these stories. Just lose your love in humanity, lose all your faith in humanity.
Well, actually, I found out. It's quite sad. I found out the other day. I spoke to someone who he worked with a guy who was, I think, 30, and he ended up. His wife ended up leaving him, and she went to court to make sure he couldn't access his kid. And he came to work over the weekend while everyone wasn't there.
Yeah.
With 3 bottles of Jack Daniels.
Oh yeah.
And he drank himself to death. So there you go. That's all you need. 3 bottles of Jack Daniels. I'm not sure what size they were. I decided not to ask. But it seemed a little. But yeah, that's.
I will admit,
all it takes, apparently.
I will admit, Jack Daniels definitely seems on the fucking it's the cheapest kind of whiskey that you can sort of enjoy in my mind. The default flavor is just trash. However, the apple flavor of Jack Daniels, honestly, I actually can enjoy. It's definitely fruity to disguise how heavy it is, so you will get drunk quick.
Well,
But
yeah. Like
But
in my experience, like Jack
lower
Daniels,
percentage as well.
like goes down. In my experience, Jack Daniels, like any flavor, just goes down real easily.
It's just a case of the honey one is sickly sweet, so I'm just there like that's
Yeah, I
disgusting. I'm
agree
not
with you
drinking
on
that. The default one just it's not good enough flavor of whiskey because it's just default Jack Daniels. The cinnamon spice just
The gentleman
what?
one for me just feels like it's been mixed with vodka. I don't know if it's me. That's just
I don't mind the Gentleman Jack. It seems a bit smoother.
But the apple
Okay,
one, I can
I might need to
there's
have
actually a
another one.
flavour there, so I'm just there like, oh yeah, this is enjoyable.
But it's also
I
like
still
half the
remember
percentage is probably why.
I still remember like drinking like 18 fucking shots of Rittenhouse Rye on the day of his acquittal.
That shit is not too bad.
It is kind of funny though, because I found out how much actually like of all places, I found out how much that I can enjoy the apple flavored Jack Daniels through of all fucking things, Record of Ragnarok, because there was like a thing going around in the fan forums about there should be a drink that themed around each different of the fighters in the series, and of course Adam, the first man, the apple tree, it was apple themed drinks. So yeah, that was that.
So you're sitting there with a straw, is that what you're telling me?
What?
You're sitting there with a bottle and a straw watching it.
No, it was a case of yeah, kind of, I guess.
Drinking whiskey out of a straw.
I'm going to make my sequel series, The
He is
Politics of
watching
Record
anime,
of
so-
Ragnarok.
Did you ever
that's
finish the
please.
politics of Attack on Titan, Harry?
I what's it called? I actually have been like taking notes again for doing that, which is the annoying part, because on my iPad there's actually a case of we detected that there was an old file just sort of on the internet, and I look at it on this like movie maker, and that old file is the politics of Attack on Titan. So like, yeah, could you download that? No, this file doesn't exist in this format. It's like, why are you telling me it's there then if you won't give it to me? Fuck you. Like all the work already done.
If it's in another format, and you can point, if you can find it, then we can convert it for you.
Oh, okay.
Depending if it says the file isn't there or the file is in a format it doesn't like, those are two quite different issues.
Yeah, it's the best way to
But,
describe this, because bear in mind again, boomer, not tech person, so apologies for this one, because it probably is just going to raise a few eyebrows like, that's not how technology works. He's just said something that doesn't make sense. He's an idiot who doesn't know how to function this. Yes, I am.
Yeah, we know.
The iPad says that the file is there for me to access, but when I access it, it says it doesn't exist. And
Yeah, it sounds like Carb can sort it.
Okay.
Mr. IT wizard.
Maybe.
Carb concern.
But yeah,
I'll have a go.
The drink though related to like the Jack the Ripper themed drink was boozy summer berry tea, and I very much agree with this because summer berries makes it look kind of red, somewhat like blood, and yeah, there's nothing really that you can actually do for a Jack the Ripper themed drink other than that. Anyway,
I've never heard of that.
what, boozy tea or summer berry tea?
Summer berry tea.
That's a thing that exists.
Yeah, I'm looking up now.
Okay. Right, let me see if there's
Right,
any.
Renamed had a palate cleanser for us.
Oh yes,
Oh, yeah.
do show.
I'll
Please
post
do
it.
show.
Alright. Give me a second. I'll post it in the podcast thing in a moment. I just need to grab it.
God gives his toughest battles to his strongest soldiers, but it's time to have a fucking rest from whatever hellhole what that was those previous fucking episodes, previous stories.
Yeah. Well, hey, you know,
We must
at
escape.
least, at least it isn't stories about Nazi.
Oh my god.
I mean, what the fuck?
Alright, it's in podcast voice text.
was.
I'm on my phone, so I don't think streaming works well for my phone. So
Thank you. Open.
it's 10 minutes. It's just a Sam Hyde comedy skit. It's excellent though.
Okay.
That's cool.
Let's see this together then.
But does it get worse?
It always gets worse.
It does start off a bit slow, I think, but
It's like it always gets worse. There is never a situation where it doesn't get worse, I'm afraid. Oh, do I have an advert? Oh, Jesus Christ, that looks like the most gay advert that's ever existed. Oh, God. Oh, no. No, no, please. No, okay, there we go.
There, that's it, and that's a good question too. You know, that is just lovely. That's so funny. I don't know why they do that.
I don't know. It's silly.
That's what I'm told. I don't know if this is true or not because you know he says a lot of things. My father, Fred Hyde.
So, if you could be anyone in history, who do you think you would be?
Ooh, that's a good question.
So, I mean, I haven't really thought about it, but I don't know. I think maybe Amelia Earhart.
Say Hitler just because I want to see her reaction.
The first woman.
Hitler would be funny.
I really
Like,
love
you could spin it round
feel
and
the
something.
wind underneath my wings if I could. I mean, I've never flown a plane. So I think that would be
there
amazing.
are Hitler things later on.
Incredible.
Just off this though, don't worry about it. It's gonna come along.
Yeah. Wow. That's very cool. What's a better way of getting to know somebody? I got it. I know who I would be. Oh, ooh. Oh, I know. Oh, I know this. I would be.
Say Hitler, please.
Any man in any.
Oh, don't lag on me, you twat.
That's fucking.
These are
be any
Smile
man.
Direct Club aligners. They're laser
I wouldn't
cut
say.
for comfort to gently straighten teeth
Not
under
fucking
the
ad.
dentist's direction. They can turn a smile like this. into a
Fucking
smile
adverts.
like
I'll get
this.
premium on this fucking
In as
account just for
little
this
as 4 to
shit.
6 months.
Oh, you don't use AdBlock?
I don't know how.
Any man in any time
Harry,
in
you
history where marital rape was legal. So let's say a man in, I don't know, Victorian England. I disapprove. I'm not saying I would do that now. At a point in the past, if I were alive back then, I think that would be sort of,
Jesus
I don't know,
Christ.
elegant. There's a tradition to it, there's a pageantry to it, there's a savoir-faire to it.
Oh my God.
You know, it's very traditional. We're going to make love right now. And if you don't agree with me, London, 1780. There's horse carriages, the clop, 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 clop of horse hooves, on the cobblestone. Okay, you've got, hello, mister, there's a present for you. It's a paper, it's been a murder in the paper. Jack the Ripper strikes again. It's like every
That ties in
little girl's
beautifully to
fantasy.
record
It's like
earlier.
a movie, cinema experience. You know, I'm not saying I would do that now. I'm saying that if I were living in a more elegant, civilized, refined time, then it would be something that I would enjoy partaking of. It's something that I would enjoy very much.
The spicy
Not
levels
saying I
must
wanna
always
do it
go
now.
up.
I'm saying I would enjoy it so much so that it would make it worth it to me to go live in that time. You see what I'm saying? It was just a part of day-to-day life. This was not considered some sort of illegal, heinous, evil act like it is today. I consider myself to be a feminist, the paper boy. Hello, sir, would you like one of the royal tongs? There's been a murder on the Thames, whatever the rivers.
Are the logs on the fire again? They're not? Well, then I'm going to use the pandy bat on you and smack you about. Time to bring out the pandy bat and give you a pasting. A smacking. That's what you get on your bottom. You're being a bad wife. You're being a bad wife.
But
that sounds a little bit like
my
Samuel.
point, listen, hey! My point is, I would have a room full of butlers and I could just open it up and start shooting a gun. I would have that. I would have a room full of butlers, right? Just like a big dinner room. I open the door and I could just shoot my musket into this room and be full of butlers, and they wouldn't be able to do anything about it because that's what they're getting paid to do. I always thought about France, and I always thought about France during the Nazi occupation. I really don't like Adolf Hitler. Yeah, me neither. And I disapprove of what he did. I would love to be in probably Nazi-occupied Paris, France. Again, hear me out on this one.
Oh no.
Because I think I would have made a very good soldier, probably. I would imagine. I think I would have. I often think I did good in high school sports. I think I would have been one of Hitler's top soldiers.
Top SS.
Well, see, I probably would have protected him somehow. I probably would have went back and protected him. I would go so far as to say that your ancestors in Auschwitz probably don't even disapprove of Hitler and what he did as much as I did. My point is that I would have been probably some sort of elite shock troop, you know, probably some sort of special forces, Hitler special forces, right?
This guy?
Like, okay. Here's the thing: no matter how much you disapprove of the guy, no matter how much
he's
you
like always in
dislike
character,
him, which
basically.
I do.
I love it. This gets worse.
Be aware of. You have to admit to yourself that having someone with that level of cachet, and that level of swagger, that level of panache, that level
It
of
works better if there's like romantic music over the top.
Savoir-faire, that level of.
But he was a vegetarian.
You know, that level of.
Unironically, Hitler was more loving to animals than I am.
In the sales business.
Oh, Hitler loved animals.
Having the eye of someone like that on you.
Hitler,
and,
animals were above you.
You're his top guy.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
That's what I mean. Like, he
That's
loved
crazy.
animals more than I do.
Hey, you know what? I wish
you're an evil little
that
shit,
they would
unlike him.
time travel
I
back
fucking
to
am,
when,
fuck
before
it.
he was born.
I will kill the
and
animals
take
with
him
my bare
out
hand to eat
then.
them.
That's what I wish happened. But what if Adolf Hitler said that you're such a physical beast, dude. You're such a physical, nasty beast, dude. You're such a nasty physical beast right now, bro, that I'm basically gonna make you in charge of a platoon of panzers, okay? You're basically so hulked up and shredded that I have no choice but to make you a legend in Nazi Germany. I would say to myself, man, this Hitler guy is up to no good. I hate this. I can't take any more of this. I don't know what I'm gonna do. What am I gonna do? I'm Hitler's top guy. What am I gonna do? Adolf Hitler chose me to lead the revolution. You cannot say no to somebody in that position like Hitler or like Alexander the Great if you want someone that's less, you know, did less bad things. Wow. If Alexander the Great tells you you're his top guy,
that's
you're
a
his
good
top
question.
guy.
Oh, it's we're at 7.5.
You're now in a position
I feel
where
bad
you have
for her
no
at
choice but
this
to
point.
go, oh,
It's a
I'm
skit,
Alexander
so
the Great's top guy, dude. Even if Tom Cruise was Jewish and
not get
he had
painful to watch,
ancestors in Auschwitz, and you were injecting him with testosterone and gorilla steroids to make him the most alpha male possible.
Is he making
if
this up
Adolf
as he goes on?
Hitler locked in his attention beams on Tom Cruise and said, Tom, you're now my top guy.
I can't imagine
There's
being
no
the flower
way
on the
to
middle of that
resist.
table.
Oh my god, I'm going to get some sort of eye blocker.
Thank God
Jesus
for that.
Christ.
Thank God for that.
These fucking, there's my mouse. That's a shit. So shit.
Way to resist that. Whoa. Adolf Hitler needs me? Okay, I'll do it. I'm going to bat for you, Hitler. I got your back, Hitler. Okay? And I say that with the most respect.
I like the way this is not to say implying that on a second date this would be fine.
I've done this. I've pulled this shit on the first date before when you want to just completely sabotage it.
If they turn up with piercings in their eyebrow and nose, you just say like, no, fuck this. I'm gonna destroy this. Destroy this date. There's no salvation now. Not putting up with this female nonsense.
Yeah, so I mean,
That's kind of
that's probably most of it. There's a bit at the end that's kind of funny, but at
Is
the
it?
end of it, like, yeah, if you want to skip past
Exactly.
that.
You know, you gotta.
What time are we supposed to skip into?
Probably like nine
off,
minutes 30 seconds or something like that. Around 9 minutes 30 seconds.
Okay.
This is the head size of a Cape Verdean, okay? And the head shape is conical. It's like cone heads. They have a slight cone shape to them. It's disgusting. They look like human cockroach hybrids. But that head size, like, I don't even fit in a regular hat, okay? My hat size is like 9.5 or 10, all right? You realize how much intelligence, IQ, sales power is up here. Here's what I want you to do. Go on your phone right now, Google image search Cape Verdean, okay? Wearing a hat. And tell me it doesn't look like he's got a salad bowl on his head.
Okay. So
there is like, so that wasn't there. You're missing the context there. I think there's something like if there's one group you want to get rid of or something like.
Right.
Well, we can't hear you.
It's fine. Don't worry about it. It doesn't matter. But there you go. It's a bit of just a bit of comedy, I guess. I don't know. I like it, but.
We've got a like on the fucking thing. Thanks whoever's done that. So we're getting some traction with this fucking series, I guess. So
It's just like some people are already actually on here, probably.
2, okay. Okay, fair enough. You're probably right on that one.
Me, so
Yeah. According to Carb, Carb messaged me that we apparently have a Chinese fan on the show. So
that's not a fan. That's a spy.
Someone left a comment. Allegedly, we had a comment left
Winnie
on
the
the
Pooh?
last
No,
one.
not Winnie the Pooh. Don't call him Winnie the Pooh.
It's probably Anglo.
Say nice things about Xi Jinping, and they might give us money.
No.
Dear Leader Ping, we wish the Chinese the greatest in their future endeavors.
he deserves another century of humiliation.
As long as you kind of ditch the communism, I will fully.
We are going to ritualistically fucking humiliate them.
No, I'm serious. It's a case of
that,
with how China acts. It's a case of 1 century of humiliation wasn't enough. Like 2 nukes wasn't enough for Japan. 1 century of humiliation wasn't enough for China. Let's do a 3rd nuke and about 3 more centuries of humiliation, and that should fix every problem.
No.
Yes.
You don't want to use nukes. You don't even need to use nukes. So.
No, I'm convinced. I'm convinced at this point. It's just nuke Japan, century humiliation of China.
Nukes are so old-fashioned, man. We don't want to use the nukes.
Yeah, but Harry, where are you going to get all your weebery from then?
Well, what do you think happens when you nuke Japan a 3rd time?
Oh, are you saying that would
Weebery will become even further. Like, you hate degeneracy, yet you're into Japanese anime. This, like...
Here's the thing. I don't understand the connection that you... Like, people keep telling me there's a connection between the two, and I never see it. It's very strange.
There absolutely is. There's no... Dude.
Unironically, I'm not even fucking with you. It's a case of I don't see it. It's this weird thing where on the Lotisus podcast, Callum sort of went on for a while explaining how there's a pipeline from anime to becoming trans, and I'm just like, this is the first time I've heard of this. I think you're lying and making it up. And then I get told that apparently
Carl mentions it in the last stream multiple times. Like, I unironically think that this might be true.
I've never heard. I've never seen it. Never in any shape, way, or form. So
degenerate in denial, and you want to just cover that one thing of degeneracy you have because you disapprove in your heart.
No, I just genuinely, unironically don't see. I don't see it. I really don't.
You don't want to see it.
No, I just don't see it. I'm sorry that it's hard for you to believe.
Because you don't want to see it.
I just don't see it. I'm sorry.
Because you don't want to see it.
We're going in circles now.
Yeah, sorry about that. However, though, if you guys want another cleanser for the palate, does anyone want to actually talk about Mulan, or is it just me?
You. I honestly, since you mentioned it, I have got a hold of both of them, so I'm going to watch them to see how good the see how good the old one was compared to the new one. I am interested to see what they talk about and what they.
Interesting then.
You know.
Good. I'm glad then that someone is interested, because here's the thing.
Seen them both.
I pirated the remake because I am not giving.
Matt,
What?
you watched it. Just say that you watched it. Don't admit that you steal things, Harry.
I'm not giving modern day Disney my fucking money if I can help it. I'll put it that way.
Steal from them.
Oh, I got a phone call.
I'll see you when you get back. But I really like the original because in the original, she's fucking surrounded by a bunch of people who they're just able to just work out more, and then muscle big enough to solve problem. Like no one's ever had to think outside of the box with that. But because she can't do that because she is a woman and her strength is lesser than, she actually does occasionally think outside the box, and it comes up with interesting answers. And she's also a tomboy, and we all have our preferences in stuff like that. So yeah, you can probably work it. Go on.
You do, but I'm not
Harry,
sure that's
expressing your fantasies.
No, I'm just saying. It's a case of, I like her character more
Yes,
than.
we know you're into tomboys. You don't
Fuck
need
off!
to like divulge all your fantasies with us, Harry. You like
No, I'm not having fantasies. You're
and
the one who's
the
imagining that I'm
Asian
having fantasies. I'm just saying that I like her character
the
more for
Asian
being a tomboy.
cartoon tomboy thing of Mulan. is
I'm not
totally
having a
up the
fantasy
street.
about Mulan. You're thinking
Yes,
anyway.
you are.
Anyway. No, I'm not. Anyway.
You totally are.
No, I'm not. Anyway, what's it called?
The
I'm trying to move on, dude. I'm trying to. Anyway, like so.
That's why it's encouraging. You're just like, yeah, you do. If you would just like,
Dude, I'm trying to move on. Like I'm actually trying to take you seriously. That's the thing.
Never take me seriously, Harry. Why would you do that? Why on earth would you take me seriously?
Granted. But effectively, that she's never had the ability to just rely on just brute force it. And so when she finally gets to the army and she's going to be thrown out for being shit because she's a woman and she's not physically strong enough, she comes to this test which does require physical fitness but also thinking outside the box to come up with a solution. And she manages to pull it off, and because of that she's actually able to stay. And no one else came up with the answer because they would just, maybe if I just brute force it more, it will eventually just work. And that's not the point, because it's good to have soldiers who are physically fit, but also smart, and
Yeah, they're the ones who become your officers.
Oh yeah, exactly. Which is a case of this military test makes sense. In the remake, how do we have this same conflict? Well, we're going to give her magical chi powers that make her superhuman and stronger than everyone who's ever lived, and she'll just turn on her powers and win. No tactics required. No, none of this other shit that you can read between the lines into that would actually be useful for military fucking training. Fuck that shit. Just turn on the superpowers and win.
Yeah, but it is like an Asian Chinese superpower thing, so it fits with their kind of mythology.
Here's the thing, though. Like it's like a case of, unironically, Mulan the poem, because essentially the original Disney film is basically a fan fiction. Unironically, because the story of Mulan.
Disney is.
No. Originally, no. Seriously,
Disney's aren't going to be completely accurate to any.
No. What I mean though is, it's a case of the original story of Mulan is this poem, which is basically it's a case of. The moral point of it is like, if push comes to shove and you need to defend yourself in armor, you can't really tell the difference between a man and a woman when it comes to defending your homeland, kind of thing. And that's the general sort of point. Whereas it's a case of the original does actually do it properly as someone like it is deliberately meant to be an inspirational figure, and the original pulls that off. But in the remake, what's the inspiration? Oh, you should have just been born better, you dumb whore. Should have just been born with perfect genetics. I don't know what you're complaining about. Just have the magic chi. Like the original does
been
this.
Born a Han Chinese.
Yeah. The original did it better than the remake.
They had to put that message in this so they could film in China, because that's the Chinese thing now. It's like the Nazis and the Aryans. It's just the Hans instead.
Harry's use of the word horror is one of my favorite things in life.
I'm not wrong, though. I'll wait for you to tell me why I'm wrong. The funny thing is, actually, right, okay, like, martial arts nerd and everything. It's the case of at one point in the film, because when you lie, your chi is blocked and makes you weak. So you should stop hiding your femininity and your fucking feminism shit. You know, take off the armor.
Yeah, that's the LGBT messages in there. Like,
Yeah.
don't hide who you are.
The thing is though, is here's the
Moving
weird
very
part.
subtly if it's got it because it's done in China.
Oh yeah.
So,
The thing is though that I love about this, which is really funny, is the armor comes off and she lets her hair down because, oh look, I'm a woman, and she fucking takes off the armor on her chest. So it's a case of, everyone can now see the cleavages everywhere, but for some reason, like, they keep the armor on the thighs. Like, everything else is allowed to come on display, but cover those thighs, you filthy slut. Don't you dare show those. So what the hell is this film? It makes no sense. It makes no fucking sense. I love it. Choreography is also really strange because in interviews, people said, we wanted to make sure we didn't do the whole old kung fu movie thing about people just flying around on wires. And then you see people
They
run...
should have just done that. They should have just fucking gone all out with it.
Oh no,
and
they
gone
did
full
actually do that though.
Tiger
After
shit.
saying how unrealistic it is, in the film, they unironically just run up 90-degree vertical walls, and so now that we've established that if you just have enough chi, you can just break the laws
Have
of
you never done that
physics.
before, Harry?
No.
We used to do that martial arts all the time.
No, fuck you.
I'd get like 8 steps across a wall, and then kick, and boom.
But the thing is that then breaks the universe of the film, because if you can just vertically run up walls and fortifications, well, how would they?
Yeah, but she couldn't earlier on. It's like a hero's thing of like.
She could from the very beginning, though, from when she was 8 years old.
No, but she couldn't embrace it properly. She had to learn how to embrace it. Like the Jedi aren't fucking super crazy to start with. They have to learn how to control it. She learned how to control it, and then she can run up a wall.
Hang on. The witch's death is probably the best part. Like, they wanted to have to include I'm serious. They include a witch character, which witches don't exist in Chinese culture. They tried to cater as much as possible to China in the remake, and fucked up in every possible way, which just makes it funny. Like, the West rejected the remake, and China also rejected the remake, unironically. So there's this person who uses magic. Right, okay, but she's shamed for using magic, which is meant to be metaphors for other shit. And so, as a witch, she can turn into, unironically, any kind of creature, and swarms of creatures. But at one point, to show that she's essentially just following with the sisterhood, and essentially is there to protect Mulan and be there for her, she throws herself in front of an arrow that's fired at Mulan to protect her as a singular bird. Even though she could have been millions of birds, she kills herself to protect Mulan as a single bird, which doesn't make sense in their own magic system. It gets worse. It gets worse.
But wait, it gets worse.
It unironically does.
What do you people want?
This is a podcast. Hi, Doom!
Podcast no one watches, so
I'm only
basically
here
just people
because
hanging out.
Shadow asked me to come on.
Oh, Shadow, why'd you ask him to do that? You didn't have to if you didn't want to.
You don't want him here, Harry. That's a bit harsh.
No, if he didn't want to be here, he doesn't.
Anyway, you chaps have a nice
We
day.
were talking about the what made me think of Doom was when we were talking about the woman and her fantasy of
oh god,
the thing you won.
Being
Bring that one
passed
back
around
up and see
by,
what Doom thinks of it.
A beastman.
Yeah. Do I still have the article up?
I will be right back. I'm going to do some push-ups real quick.
Don't blame you. So if you can see on the fucking stream, apparently this is what inspired him to want to get you in this podcast for some reason.
It sounded like your thing.
I feel like I'm taking part in bullying here. I don't like it.
He left already, so.
Okay, good.
Poor Doom.
So I'm gonna actually struggle.
Shadow has a particular way of making friends.
I'm probably going to struggle though with explaining. There's this move in the movie called what basically described as the Mulan kick, which it would destroy your toe. It would break your toe every time you did it. But throw something into the air, then do a backwards somersault kick, and with the very tip of your toe, basically kick the point of the thing, and fire it.
Why you wear steel toe caps?
But just the centrifugal force, and just putting all that pressure.
It's centrifugal.
I'm probably using kinetic force. Is that the right one?
Yeah, but I thought you said centrifugal.
Yeah, and I used I said the wrong one by mistake.
That's not. Yeah, but that's not even a thing.
Am I saying? Am I mixing?
Harry,
I'm mixing words. Essentially, just the like kick something to send it at the opponent, but it will fly faster than a fucking arrow. Like essentially, it's like apparently this character can kick so hard that they can fire harder than a bow and arrow. It's like the more that you look into it, it just makes less and less sense and breaks its own laws and universe. And
yeah, it can't be a fun film if they don't do that.
Yeah, it's like that's actually the setup for how the villain dies as well. It's just the Mulan kick. It's like, oh, she can do this cool backflip. It's like, and the villain dies this way. It's like, okay, it's all trash. It very much plays off as like in some regards a propaganda against Xi Jinping. I'm probably saying his name wrong. The
Xi Jinping.
No, there's this guy who effectively is Count Dankula did a Mad Lads episode on him. He's this...
the martial arts guy who kicked everybody's ass.
Yeah,
and he got a really poor social credit score.
Yeah, that guy. It very much plays off with the kung fu shit that happens in this film. It very much comes off as anti-him propaganda, and so it's just more and more just painful as it goes on. What was that you said?
Number one.
Yeah, literally that. I fucking hate the whole China #1 thing because it's just not true. It's like, look, Kung Fu can work if you fucking pressure test it, you idiot. It's like, no, we refuse to pressure test.
Chinese. You just need to be Chinese because China #1. Han Chinese.
We refuse to pressure test because that's a Western thing. They invented that. It's like, oh my god, you twat.
Leave them be. If we're gonna have to go to a war with them, it's better that they're all propagandized that they're the best and not actually the best. Because they'll be overconfident and they'll lose.
Oh, have you ever seen a film called Wolf Warrior or Wolf Warrior 2?
Yes.
Oh my!
In the first scene, he dives into the water and he like beats the ass out of them, all, like whilst swimming, and ties them up. It's like what?
So for those of you who don't know, Wolf Warrior and Wolf Warrior 2 are the most China #1 films that have ever fucking existed.
Chinese. I am Chinese, don't shoot.
I love the idea.
It was like all the Africans don't want to shoot them because they're Chinese, even though the Africans are fighting each other.
I love the idea that they unironically are just sat there. It's like, oh yeah, the Africans would love us so much that they wouldn't want to shoot at Chinese people when we rule over them when they're infighting. It's like, have you fucking seen? Have you fucking seen African war gangs and how they would fucking shoot you and eat you alive? Jesus Christ. The hubris in that scene is so delicious. I love it. Oh my god. I think I prefer Wolf Warrior 2 though. It's the one that's definitely the most memorable to me. Let me check. Who's this fucking message from?
So, I feel obliged to mention. I don't know if you've seen this, Harry, but is Cypher Hirsch? You might recommend it. It's this anime movie called Jinro, The Wolf Brigade, or something.
Oh.
Okay. And it's like an hour 20 minutes long, hour and 30, and it's basically like essentially there's a bit of a love story there, but it's essentially a story about right-wing death squads.
It's a story about right-wing death squads. That sounds rather.
Shit. The Carp sent me something actually, and it's basically just a case of about the supposed anime to trans pipeline. And so, do you guys want to lose your love and humanity again and go over this as the last story?
Well, no, it would just be a confirmation of what we already know to be true. It's only you that's losing any love and humanity because of it.
Fair point. Fair point.
fundamentally, anime is about escapism. If you get too deep into it and you want to like not be yourself and be another character, and you seriously invest yourself in that, it's no surprise that you'd want to emulate that in reality to whatever extent you can. You know, and basically like escape from your identities as like an individual.
I think here the added complication is the fact that there are adults that groom children within that sphere.
Yeah.
But really, it's more to
Probably
do
that
with
as well.
it seems to be more to do with the actual dress up and sort of Comic-Con side of it more than anything, as opposed to just sort of
Maybe.
generally watching stuff. To be honest, so it's not
I
really
do-
until Harry starts dressing up as as massive wide-eyed anime characters. We probably don't have too much to worry about, to be honest.
Why the fuck would I? Why wouldn't I just dress up as the most masculine Chad character and work out so that I could fulfill the part of it?
Because nobody will want to pay any attention to you if you did that.
Well, you have to be worthy of my attention. Fuck you. Think it.
No, we didn't say your attention. Nobody would want to pay you attention.
Oh right.
You need to be. You need to dress up as a proper trap if you want any attention.
No, they're below me. If that's what people want to talk to, then I don't want their fucking attention. They're beneath me in that case. Subhuman filth.
Yeah. I'm waiting for the Astolfo Harry cosplay.
The what?
Astolfo cosplay, Harry.
I don't know
I'm
what
waiting
that
for it.
is, but essentially it's just a case of I might do an All Might.
Or a Felix cosplay that would work
Who
as
the
well.
fuck is Felix?
Come on, do you call yourself a fucking weeb? How dare you?
I don't. Other people call me a weep. That's the thing. That's what I keep telling people. That's the funny part. See, Shadow just called me a
You
weep.
fulfill the definition.
Well, I don't know. Let's look up what Urban Dictionary says the definition is, because
So just search up Astolfo, okay?
I don't know how.
Google.
You'd need to literally copy and paste the spelling to me because I have no idea.
No, ASTOL.
Hang on.
be careful about looking up anything on here that people tell you about without checking it somewhere else first.
Yeah, you can put on safe search. It's fine. Or like that's probably by default. AST.
Hang on. Let me get the thing. AST. What's the rest of it?
OL.
OL.
FO. Yeah, there it is. Astolfo anime or Astolfo Fate works too.
Cosplay.
Well, it doesn't need to be cosplay. It just needs
Burn
to
it
be
all
pictures
down.
of-
Burn it all the fuck
no,
down.
No,
No, burn
not
it down.
cosplay.
Burn it down. This is all cope. Burn it down.
Yes, so just search Astolfo without the cosplay. Not.
No,
So you
no.
can see the actual character.
Nope.
No. You need to see the actual character. Come on, Harry. Like, because that's the point of this, right? But from the,
shit sickens me.
I know. I'm sick. Totally.
Burn it down.
There it is. So that's just so you know, that's a guy. Okay.
Burn it down.
What's a guy?
Moving on to sanity.
Astolfo is like a trap essentially in anime, like one of the more famous traps. So is Felix from ReZero.
The funny thing is, it's a case of I'm told that the most famous trap, and I've never heard of it.
It's one of the most, dude. Even if you don't watch
either,
any of
Harry.
it, dude, you can just look at memes, like trap memes all over the place, and Astolfo is like the face of like pretty much all trap memes. Like,
That implies that I look at trap memes. I don't. That's the thing. That's why I
you
don't
come
know.
across them.
I don't though. That's the thing.
I do. I don't know.
You're looking at them, Harry.
Well, the thing is, I
It's like
spent
they're
time
a
in
trap.
Athens.
That's a
So-
trap.
So the thing is, on
I don't
Athens,
think
they're
Harry
like
quite makes the
degenerate shit.
definition of a weeb.
Yeah,
No,
you gotta give it. You gotta pan in your weep card, Harry. You don't deserve it anymore.
No. Please explain why I don't make the definition of a weeb.
Well, I'll read out the top one for Urban Dictionary, and I can see why you would, but then you stray from it. So,
Go on.
a weeb is a person who is interested in anime and Japanese culture. There is There is an important difference between a weeb and a weeboo. The latter is a person who denounced their culture, believes they are or want to become Japanese. So you're not one of them. Fine.
Transculturism.
Well, it's probably that comes on its own definition, I guess. Weebs are normal people who like anime and may have some merch, and I'm guessing you don't have any merch.
No.
Attack on Titan sword or something, Harry.
Nope. Not at all. The only thing that you could argue I have is a poster of Poseidon from Record of Ragnarok, and Francesca gave me that for Christmas. So that's not even
Damn.
something that I got myself. So
You appreciate it though.
It's a
Your
gift from
girlfriend,
her.
if she's listening, you gotta say yes. It's a trap. I trapped you. You gotta say yes, man.
Yeah, it's like, so if I say no, I upset Francesca. If I say yes, I'm a weeb. So
Actually,
it's like, oh.
ironically, it's Shadow who's the trap.
Literally, Shadow is now
Don't
the
worry.
trap confirmed.
Harry, we know you have an Aaron Yeager body pillow.
I
You
fucking
can't lie to
don't,
us.
you weirdo. That's just creepy. That's just weird.
Come on, we know you fetishize his pro-genocide stance. Come on. Lie to us.
Step on all of
It's
those
like-
who want to enslave the world.
Most anime I've seen is really, I don't like it at all. Like, most of it does not appeal to me at all. But there are some things that I find interesting, but it just happens to be told in that particular anime medium. But yeah, most of the stuff that people recommend, I don't, it doesn't interest me at all.
Just like these all look like really young teenagers, and they're all about to fuck. This is like degenerate, disgusting shit.
Like here's
Okay,
here's-
so what happens if it's anime involving adults then? Like, obviously older adults, is that a different thing?
Here's the
they're
thing.
not.
I don't.
They're raw.
I
They're always,
I
like,
just
little
want
fucking
standards
kids.
in my fucking
Ghost in the
media.
Shell is a perfect example of an anime that's almost entirely involved around adults. I can't remember a single child in it. In fact, so
Like adults, though. That's
Yes.
what I'm saying. It doesn't.
They all look like adults.
They'll draw like this childlike looking thing and be like, "No, they're really old," and it's like, "No, man, I ain't buying it."
they all look like adults.
She's a 1,000-year-old lolly vampire succubus. No shit.
I think one of the main characters has a kid who plays a very, very small part in it. Like in what I can think of one episode where I think she goes missing, and they have to go and it becomes part of a case file or something. But that's it. That literally the other 20, 30 hours. I can't. There must be some, but I can't imagine. It's all adults looking at like dealing with adult issues with other adult politics, war, immigration, war.
Being
Like
an
there's
apologist
nothing.
for lolly porn, man.
Well, that's it. I've yet to see one in there. But now there is and of course, I'm thinking of the films and the TV series. I can't comment on the actual magazines because they're in a different time, and I've barely seen any of them. So maybe there's some in there, but I don't know. But no, it doesn't seem to fit your description, so I don't really know what to say. In fact, ironically, the most childish thing in it is they've got think tanks, and they've all got voices like children, but that's the kind of premise behind them because they're learning because they don't know anything, so they're having to learn how human beings work in order to be part of the team, and it's quite amusing because they're obsessed with death because they can't die. So because they just get synchronized between each other, so if one of them gets shot up, they just get repaired. So they're interested in like the philosophy of human beings and how they work, while also trying to do their jobs as basically small tanks that go around, doing tank stuff.
For me, I've given this position before, but it's a case of Western media just goes woke and then goes more woke and more and more, and it's just not enjoyable. And God forbid, it could also happen, admittedly, with anime as well, but it hasn't happened, and I just want some fucking standards. And a series going woke means it's unwatchable, the standards are too low, and there's a lot of crap anime. There is, but it's not gone woke. And same with South Korean live action, also hasn't gone woke like Hollywood has. And then anime and manga fucking destroys Western comic books and comic book industry and fucking Western animation. And then South Korea, they fucking destroy Hollywood like there's no tomorrow. It's like watching Western entertainment industries just literally just get raped. There's no fucking lube going in the ass. It's just screaming in pain and agony, and it's just I want my fucking standards, so I end up going to Eastern media for it. I just don't want to essentially just have like the woke propaganda shoved down my fucking throat constantly. which is why I end up going
Harry,
around.
the solution to this is you don't watch or read media. Like you just like read old books read old Western literature. Like unironically, like it's a lot of media these days, television, especially ones that are stuff that is easily accessible, is garbage by design because it's meant to appeal to the lowest common denominator. So you actually can't count on any of it, which is why anime is becoming terrible as well, because you have people who essentially they're just pumping out garbage that they know most people will accept, and then pretty much all the people who actually care about it are just abandoning it because they should, because it's awful.
Oh yeah, like it's a case of like I've said this before, but unironically it's a case of Netflix bought the right to when one guy was animating the manga in his fucking bedroom. This Record of Ragnarok became popular. Netflix bought the right to turn it into an anime, and turned what is meant to be this like as hype as possible tournament of humanity and gods fighting each other in a tournament to the death to decide whether humanity gets to live for another 1,000 years. Netflix turned it into a fucking PowerPoint presentation, and everyone just doesn't care and goes back to the guy who's just fucking making this version in his bedroom.
Death Note is even worse. Death Note, what they did Death Note is even worse. Like,
oh yeah, it's like there's I can't remember. Oh yeah, it was Anglo Jones who said this. Like Anglo Jones in our group, for anyone who's watching
in between his Pombe use.
Yeah, in between his Pombe use, he mentioned this series called Ruby, with how of all things, and fuck you Anglo for me having to make this sentence, the hentai looks more appealing than the official canon. And the reason behind that...
You're well into all that shit.
No, he's the one who said it. I'm just quoting what he said. Anyway...
You get your reeb back, Harry.
What was that?
You like hentai.
You get your reeb card back, Harry, with that one sentence.
Again, I was quoting what he said. But anyway, moving on.
Yeah, but you're expressing your agreement with the statement.
Look up...
Is he?
No,
well,
the thing is the official series does look like shit, which is the point. So anyway, it looks like shit because it was a Western-made series that was very much trying to be political, and there's meant to be a race that they're basically just a what's called a stand-in for black people for a civil rights analogy, and they cared more about trying to write that than actually making it look appealing. And a lot of shit these days is made like that. It's just how can we just project the message? It's not the series they're passionate about. It's about projecting the message that they're passionate about. So that's where all the effort goes. If you want to make a good story, you have to fucking love your story.
That story you hate. Be more passionate in it.
It's not about destroying the stories we hate. It's about saving the stories we love.
Shut up.
Trust me, as probably the biggest Star Wars fan in this call right now, it hurts me more than it hurts any of you.
Thing is, it's a case of like Star Wars to me is all right. It's just
Shut up, Harry.
It's just really overhyped.
You don't appreciate good things.
No, it's just for me, Star Wars it just can't live up to its own hype. Like, it's hyped up so much by fans that it kind of just falls over.
You see, and I'm like that super fan who knows all of like the expanded universe shit.
The thing is the expanded. It's fine. It's entertaining. It's just I have to not look at the hype it's given. If I look at the hype, it just makes it unbearable and cringe.
Why do you look at the hype of anything?
It's kind of hard to avoid
Make your own decisions.
It's kind of hard to avoid any sort of internet. Like, I have to literally not tell anyone that, oh, yeah, I watched Star Wars the other day, and then it's a case of, and then they just talk for ages about how amazing it is, and it's like, my god, a 2-year-old could write the fucking fight choreography of Luke's versus Darth Vader. Fuck off. It is basic tier trash. It's effectively what it reduces my opinion to when they start wanking off that fucking scene.
You're complaining about the
fans ruin my experience of the media.
Time where it was made in the fucking early 80s.
The fans ruin my experience of the media, effectively.
Oh shit! What?
Anyway, that said, though, we I don't know how long we've gone on for, but I do agree with
Harry, but the choreography of the Mustafar duel is fucking like savage and ruthless. But the the Snoke's throne room fight scene.
Oh, the Snoke one was terrible. They had to make weapons of the bad guys disappear because they could have so obviously beheaded Rey.
Shadowverse.
We'll just fucking edit it out and make it disappear. Like, what the
It's
fuck?
like when you make some choreography so shit that it's actually worse than 2018 or 2020 Mulan. You know you got problems.
Okay, are we gonna go that far?
It fucking is bad, but somehow they managed to make it worse than that remake.
Well, okay, maybe when you analyze it in actual detail, but when it comes to, like, cinematography, though, nothing's worse than that fucking Asian guy, like, getting in the bind with Mulan and then both just, like, pressing their swords and, like, glaring at each other.
That is, honestly, it's a case of two things I really hate in sword fight choreography that I see every time in anime and in TV and all sorts of other shit, sometimes in video games as well, is I'm going to block, not parry, I'm going to hard fucking block your sword with my sword with the blade edge. It's like, don't do that. You've now fucked both those swords, and there's no unfucking...
Well, you want a lightsaber and it doesn't matter then.
Yeah, with a lightsaber it's not a problem, but with that, like, that's something very specific. But you fucked both those swords, and there's no unfucking them. And then the bind
You don't
is...
like fuck swords?
No, I don't like a sword that's completely
gay,
fucked.
Harry.
I don't like a sword that's completely fucked and is never going to see any good use ever again. Like, you'd have to buy a new sword after every fight. Do you have any idea how expensive that would get? The logistics of doing sword fighting like that would just be absolute fucking insanity and pain. You'd run out of money so quickly.
Hollywood's got loads of money.
Yes, but I'm referring to in-universe, in the story, people doing that. The logistics just aren't there.
Yeah, but it's in Hollywood.
In-universe of the story where someone does that is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but in universe, the swords are, like, forged with chi.
Yeah, they are literally lightsabers, man.
And then with the bind, it's a case of it literally appeared in the fucking video comments on the load seaters. Well, why wouldn't you just, not do the bind and just win? Like, if
I mean, which I found kind of funny because that's sort of like, everyone's talked about that. Like,
you can end up in a bind, man. Like, if you fight with a sword, ending up in a bind occurs. It's usually because you're holding the pressure there because you're not sure what move to make next. You just kind of end up doing that.
I just don't fucking see it. It's just the most cringe thing whenever I see fight choreography. Let me go into the bind. He's like, don't do this, please. Fuck you. It just takes me right out of it. I know it's fake as soon as I see that shit.
Yeah, but it does happen though. So you calling something fake that does actually happen is kind of weird. There's ways of getting out of it where you can slide along the bind and do stuff,
but I mean,
kind of what you
there's
should
people
do.
are just fucking pressing up against each other.
Just pressing and pressing and pressing and pressing and just holding it and holding it and holding it. It's like, and not real.
But as you try and do something, if the person reacts to that, it does end up as just still looking like a solid hold.
Yeah, but like you can tell that there's like action and reaction within it, as opposed to just pushing as hard as you can.
Just staring into their eyes menacingly while doing fuck all. Just keep staring.
Like, the Mulan thing, though, was the worst one I've seen.
I think they hold it for 30 fucking seconds of just looking at each other. And it's like, alright, either do something or just fucking kiss already, fuck's sake.
Well, fuck off, because you're a whore.
If you're gonna stare that deeply into each other's eyes, just kiss already, fuck me. It was so trash. It's more. Somehow we managed to find something more trash than the woman who wants fat guys to fuck her. We managed to find something more trash than that.
And that started with Mulan, the thing that you thought was going to be a
that woman is a whore. So...
Yes, impression Harry is correct. With that said, though, I think we have gone on for a bit, and assuming, like, if anyone wants to interrupt me, go ahead. But I think
trains.
Oh God.
But Vulkan and Anglo aren't here.
Anglo and Vulkan have, yeah.
I have the idea though that I agree with something that said that what's it called? Carb said in the past.
On the moon.
Where Carb said in the past, actually that would not be a good idea because moonquakes, and if you don't know what those are, I'll explain it afterwards. Carb said that maybe we should start these at 1 o'clock New York time, and I kind of agree with that. We did it early though because effectively everything that happened on Mars.
Well, the Anglos arrived, so
I'm
we
not
can
sure if I
also
said
speak
that. I
about
think you might be
train.
getting mixed up with someone, Harry. I'm not saying it's a bad idea.
Trains! We need to make it about trains now.
Fuck! You've
just arrived at exactly the right time, man.
Oh, have I? Oh.
Yeah, because Harry was trying to end it all, but we need to talk about
No,
trains.
we're not ending this. No, we're talking about trains, mate.
We talked about the trains in Ukraine and how they were still running at night.
Oh, we didn't actually go over that. You know what? Fuck it. I'll bring up that article for you fucks.
Mate, yeah, there's some really interesting stories about trains in wartime. Like there were some times in the Midlands where a coal train had to outrun a bombing raid. So it had to get to a coal plant, power station, within a certain time. It raced through the tunnels and got bombed eventually. But the drivers were wearing gas masks the whole time, so it must have looked quite funny. Oh, I can't remember when that was.
You get your fucking wish.
Yes, trains.
I like trains.
Love my train, simple as. There's the griller, and then there's the train enthusiast. Beyond centrism.
I swear, this is just going to become like every single fucking week, it's just the train segment.
Oh, yeah.
And I hate it!
No, why would you hate it, mate? How can you be autistic and not like trains? What is this?
You're a real autist if you don't like trains.
Then I'm not a real autist, fuck it.
Yeah. You're a normal person, Harry.
You're normie.
Trains, it's just the systems of the rail. You've never made a railway and then watched the train go round and round and round. It's so sad.
You don't play with Thomas the Tank Engine. You're not cool.
Yeah, those Tony sets of it was those wooden trains. You get the special ones.
Yes, I remember that.
Have you seen the Thomas the Tank Engine stunts videos?
No, wait, that's the thing.
Yeah, I'll
Thomas
find a
the
link.
Tank Engine. Yeah, send me that.
Kill me now.
Thomas the Tank Engine stunts.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Wait, who's that one?
I heard trains and I just had to come in.
No!
Thomas the Tank Engine stunts.
Dan,
What?
give me
is this?
20 minutes to shower. and I'll
Oh
be
my
here,
god,
all
with
right?
a smart
At
idiot
full
here as
club.
well.
Patrick Bateman, you mean?
You can touch my hand and feel the warmth, but deep down you'll know that there's just the image, the visage of a man. But deep down I don't really, truly exist.
I want everyone to feel my pain.
You see, this is why I would tell you the story about the woman who wants her beastmen to use her, because I want you all to suffer and feel the pain.
Put the link on that I just posted in the news links.
Oh no.
Thomas Train stunts. Oh my god, yes. Proper British engineering, mate.
So that's why you keep saying English trains are superior.
Yeah, mate. Thomas the Tank Engine can do stunts, mate.
When it fucking loads.
Turn
There's no superhero called Peacemaker. Dude, I'm famous.
Give me the chance to stay out of prison.
Skip!
Alright.
I demand the power to skip. There we go. Oh god.
Trains.
Yeah, although I didn't get to meet Trump yesterday, which I'm still very upset about.
Oh.
I did go out to dinner with the head of the Michigan Republican Party.
Oh. Nice.
Yeah, I got back home at like 2 a.m.
Thomas got.
I just woke up.
Thomas got drip, mate.
Fuck my life.
I have come to. One could even say I have come to derail the podcast.
Shut up.
Yeah, this is a bad train of thought to go down.
Yes. Yes.
I just do not understand the appeal of trains even slightly, and this is what I have to put up with.
Look at how organised and orderly they are.
Oh, that's so aesthetically pleasing.
I know, mate. Hearing a steam train come to life just makes me hard. Oh, look at that. Proper railing there. That's some proper skills there, right?
I actually do. Imagine how much time could be better spent just mathematically working out how to get it to all just come together.
Look, we're not ending world hunger. We're making stunt trains.
Why would you want to end up world hunger when you can make stunt trains?
Yeah.
I mean, I would rather see starving children in China than not see this.
That's weird.
The starving children in China, just give them a bit of leather jelly.
There is no famine in China. There is no famine in China. Come on.
A famine in China just means it's going to kill all the soldiers that are going to try and kill us. So
This is fabricated. It is not real.
Go ahead and have your train nonsense. I'm gonna just go away for a couple of minutes because I don't want to deal with the train bullshit again, and just finish my cup of tea and check up on my granddad. Make sure he's still doing okay.
You will get raped on an Eastern European
See you guys.
train.
I'll be back.
I was on a Hungarian train once to Budapest, and like the carriages look like stuff from old Cold War spy films.
I've never been on an Eastern European train, but I have stood on a railway track in Eastern Europe. It was the track that led into Auschwitz.
Oh, nice. Did Thomas the Tank Engine kill a lot of Jews?
There was lots. I can imagine Thomas taking those cattle carts in.
Have you seen that video of like Thomas the Tank Engine? He's like, I can only hear the screams when I took them down that track. It's so good. Like he's like responsible for Auschwitz and stuff. It's great.
So this is why you like.
I didn't even know that existed. I thought that'd be funny to do.
I'll put it in the voice podcast text. It's such a good video. Like, oh.
So Shining Time Station was really Dachau.
Yeah, like the island of Sodor is actually somewhere in Poland. And it's where the Fat Controller, who is secretly Hitler, murders Jews.
The Fat Controller with the Hitler tash.
Railway Union.
Uh-oh, Thomas, it seems you've got to go to Krakow and collect the Jews.
One tried to escape, but
Thomas,
you ran him over.
run
You're a
him
really
down.
good engine, Thomas.
You're a really useful engine, Thomas. 6 million is brilliant.
No, let's go for 7.
There wasn't enough room in my cart. My carts weren't that big. How did I manage 6 million?
Ellie the silly cart broke away and let some Jews go. Thomas had to mow them down. Silly Emily. Somebody should do that, like Thomas the Tank Engine NSFW adult show, but it's really like messed up.
I think that's happening now, apparently.
Oh.
Let's do it.
Don't go to trains in Eastern Europe. They're like something out of a murder like film. It's horrible. And
That sounds like a
Hungarian trains-
Greyhound bus station here in the
And
States.
the worst thing is, it's like you can't even read like Hungarian words because their train systems are like 20 like letter long words, all of them. It's horrible. I need to find some pictures of like the ones like it's you would expect like 20th 21st century they probably got nice stuff, and it's like nope, it's all still Cold War stuff.
Isn't that just like everything in Eastern Europe is still Cold War?
No, luckily Poland is somewhat going forward. Although the Hungarian currency is shite.
I don't know. They
very based economy.
£1 in Hungarian currency is like 380 foreign. It's mad, and it's only going up. I think it's 386 now.
Yeah. Could be worse. They could have Biden in there just jacking up the inflation.
Oh mate, if you had like Hungarian money, you guys would be screwed.
Would be. I'm thinking American currency is going to be turned into lira by the end of the year.
Oh yeah, I mean it's still going up. It's ridiculous.
it's kind of hard to prop up a currency based off military power when
Mhm.
your military looks like ours currently does and is chiefed by the person it is currently chiefed by.
And giving away all your stuff to Afghanistan was a strange tactical move. Here, have
Well,
all this.
it was for diversity.
I like how one of their excuses was it would cost a bit to refuel them and send them all back. Oh no. I'm sure the profit margin is not nearly as bad as taking it all back with a bit of fuel.
But you got to remember the way our government works. They would have been paying a contractor to do that, and they just never decided to negotiate with any of these contractors and just take whatever price the contractors bring. So they
Yeah.
might have actually saved money just leaving it all there.
I don't know. They still would have made more.
If they just
Also,
done it
the
themselves,
US
it
government
would
being
have been
based in
cheaper
military,
to take it all home. But
the US government being based in military strength, if we're unwilling to use it in the Ukraine case, like seriously, like actually deploy the US military or NATO, like that's all of our power out of the window, right? If we're not willing, if for whatever reason you're not willing to do it, like, you know, that's all you have, you know.
Just for a shits and giggles, it's now 436 for it to £1 sterling.
Ooh. Damn. Love my hyperinflation. Love watching the economy burn. Although it can't be as bad as being a Californian. I mean,
well, nothing's that bad.
Living expenses. Oh no.
Oh, well, yeah, just move into the street and you get free handouts from the government.
You get free heroin needles.
in front of a $30 million home.
Yeah. Don't forget the crack pipes.
So,
If you don't
do you
have
know
crack
the?
pipes, you actually get kicked off the lot.
So while every other state is like repealing temporarily their gas tax, the California legislature decided to increase like tax oil companies on their margins greater than like 30 cents a barrel or something. I forget precisely what the value was, but essentially they decided to tax oil companies more instead of lowering the gas tax.
So here's an idea, and we're gonna see how long it takes for California to come up with it. When is California going to tax the unrealized gains on undrilled oil?
Ooh.
Oh my god.
What about this for an idea? Pay California's debts on the proviso that they have to use their own currency in the future. So pay their debts today. Tomorrow, the Cal dollar is a thing. I mean, obviously, you'd actually have to leave it some time for them to sort of, build the infrastructure to however they want to implement it, and just let them. Because then it's a bit like giving
Zimbabwe
Scotland
levels
independence.
of hyperinflation. The Californian dollar will be worth as much as the Zimbabwean dollar because they'll just print and print and print and print.
Yes, but because their only real success at the moment is because they're backed up by the monster that is the American dollar, which is dying slowly, but it's still that's the only real reason they can do what they can do. It all comes back to if we were on a gold currency, one description or another, a lot of the problems that we have now just wouldn't exist because it couldn't have possibly been financed in the first place.
Get your bullion. Get some bullion. You need it.
I'm not sure about gold because I think China has.
It's been incredible, my dudes, but I have to bounce. I gotta do some exercise and theological shit, all kinds of stuff. But before I leave, I shall leave you with a message from the God King.
Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
Based.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, King Trump.
Yeah. So, personally, my opinion on California is we should annex the state of Jefferson from Northern California. Just build a giant port there because having ports on that side of the country is useful. And then the rest of California, we just turn into a demilitarized zone build a giant wall so no one can escape, and use it to test munitions from afar.
So basically, you're going to have Governor Snake Plissken show up here in a couple years with this plan.
Sure.
I like this idea.
Once King Trump gets into power and we have General Alex Jones, he can be the one to implement this plan.
We're gonna go take over the United States of America, I'm telling you. It's gonna be mental.
So, Danish, what location do you want to annex?
So there's a portion of Northern California that wants to split off into the 51st state because they just
What's
hate
it called?
Southern California. They want to become the state of Jefferson.
Okay.
Yeah, the problem is that they need the approval of the California state legislature and the federal legislature. But if we kick California out of the union, then we only need federal approval because it'd be a territory again.
Okay, so the state of Jefferson is not Jefferson Park, or is it? So I've just looked on Google Maps, but obviously it's doing its best to. So it's somewhere where Reading is, or something like that. Yeah.
I don't
Reading
actually
County?
know the exact border, but it's a few counties up north.
Actually, they've got a website.
Oh, nice.
That's useful.
Let's see if I can boomer it into the Discord here.
Boomers.
But basically, it's the northern half of the state from the looks of it.
Okay, official. Unfortunately, we can't put it up on the screen because.
He's fucked off.
Well, he's dead.
And then
SOJ51.org.
Yep. And there's a direct link to the map where you can kind of see that. So basically, it's the northern third of the state from the looks of it.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
And you've also got movements to do the greater Idaho portion, where the eastern half of Oregon and Washington State want to break off and join Idaho.
Because Washington and Oregon are kind of crazy.
Yeah, just look at the footage from 2020 and you'll know.
Yeah, that's
They
what
really need a better map, to be
people who
honest.
don't know American geography.
So everybody claims that Americans don't know world geography. Wow. Fuck you. Now you don't know ours.
Never happened, no.
No.
That's because we don't need to, because America #1.
You know, we've got a whole continent to fuck around with, so.
I mean,
Precisely,
America is pretty large.
I don't have to worry about going to war with small Eastern European countries. I am currently drafting plans for the annexation of Canada, Mexico, and potentially just Chile. The rest of South America can be left alone.
Chile is the only nice place. Better than the rest.
They got some sick-ass mountains and some nice resources.
And their economy is not poo.
Yeah, and it would be a great place to put missile silos for the inevitable Atlanticing of Australia.
Well, for the destruction, for the invasion of Antarctica to get the UFOs.
Yeah.
Well, of course.
No, I think we should just start picking up dirt off the bedrock floor and just sink Australia into the sea. I've seen what animals they have there, and have decided that it's not a place for human inhabitants of any reason.
Yeah, I think we need to recruit an army of emus and kangaroos, and then just take over the country using those animals.
The country has already been taken over by emus and kangaroos. Have you
No,
seen
no,
their
I'm saying
political, stature?
I'm saying we arm them.
Ah.
Interesting idea.
Make them just give them suicide vests. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
No. We're talking about gene splicing arms onto their genome. So they look
Only for the
exactly
emus.
now, but have an additional pair of arms.
Or actually just gene splice the two species together.
Ooh.
So
They need a better
emus
map.
that
That is a
bounce and
terrible
box.
map.
I have returned. Is anyone still here, or should I end the podcast?
No, we're here.
No, we're talking about the state of Jefferson.
You
Beatmost.
weren't here to put the pictures up.
Oh, shit.
The audience was probably all fucked off by now. They're all very bored.
They've all gone insane.
Yeah, we tried to talk about the
Gone?
destruction of Australia at my hands while you were gone. But...
So, with that said, then, should I just end the fucking stream now, or what?
I don't know, mate. Up to you.
I've put another link which got a slightly better map up. But
Okay, I see it from Carb.
there is the website before gives more detail, but at least for the thingy-bob, this will give a better the map on their website is frankly terrible. This is a little better, but
Oh my god, it's Reddit. Jesus Christ. You are a Reddit atheist, aren't
doesn't
you?
matter where it comes from.
Have
Reddit
you
is
not noticed
around.
Car posting all the fucking Reddit links? It's really lame.
Reddit is haram. Suicide yourself.
I'm now getting more convinced that Carb is actually secretly a Reddit atheist.
Yes.
Get the neckbeard.
Reddit, no.
Secretly. And this is pretty damned open.
Yeah, he's pretty explicit about being an atheist.
I'm not. I don't even have a Reddit account. I don't use Reddit.
You don't use Reddit. You're always posting Reddit links, you fucking liar.
How do you get the Reddit links if you don't use it? I don't understand
I've just done a web search, and the picture happens to be on Reddit. But I could have got your web search from any other location.
You use Reddit links so often.
I don't.
You do. Like, there's so much shit that I've seen you posted. It's like, oh, it's Reddit. That's why, like, we've got the thing of thinking that you're just a Reddit guy.
I doubt I've posted from Reddit more than 2 or 3 times ever, to be honest.
But they're all now, so suspicions are aroused.
Well, it's fine because you can see everything I've ever posted in Discord, so it would be easy to prove either way. But the only channel on Reddit I ever had any interest in was one I was shown a couple of years ago about people that make like gaming desks out of various materials from a sort of DIY perspective, and I thought that was interesting. But that's about the only channel I'm even vaguely aware of, and I haven't looked at that for a while, years in fact. So this is where we need to suddenly find biolabs and then annex it from California, so that America can have access. The Republican side of America can have access to the coast. Is Danish still here?
Yes, I'm still here.
Oh yeah.
I'm just actively doing my homework for the weekend.
Oh.
What was he again?
I hate education. It's so dull.
It's very boring.
I know.
In all honesty, my all of the answers to my class questions can be found entirely online because my teacher is very lazy and is using a pre-made course.
Oh, good. That's
So,
a very good thing.
Well, then the answer for every question is C.
What does in C? Yes.
Yeah, unfortunately, not all of them
Depends if it's multi-guess or not.
Choice. Yeah.
No, even the essay questions, it's C.
I'm not sure if he actually reads anything. I think he just gives me a random score between a C and an A.
Oh, genius.
Yeah.
If you guessed it, then you're extended.
Most of it is multiple choice, but not all of it.
Does it include trains?
It does not include trains.
Oh, rubbish.
What kind of monster do you have as a professor?
Trains are everything.
I honestly have no idea. I think it's an overweight black woman. That's just because most of the professors at the school are overweight black women.
Trains are love, trains are life.
Trains are also overweight black women.
That's Troons. I think you're confusing these two things.
I don't know.
Right, wait. State of Jefferson. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting.
I'm reading more about it. They seem to be big into boobs, alcohol, and guns. So they're not going too badly.
Hence the XX as the state seal.
Nice.
Yeah, no. Even on their monopoly money that they print at a moment, but clearly they want as a real currency. Let's see if I can drag that in. That's quite interesting.
It's like if the population of California, that's the cringe kind of libertarians, wanted to have their own state. And honestly, I just prefer them over California.
Picture for you.
That's a low bar though.
Hey guys, because I gotta get going, you don't mind if essentially I just end the fucking stream, do you?
No, that's fine.
Yeah, gone. Slur is basically dead now, so let's end it there.
If you have to
Goodbye,
go, Harry,
world of YouTube.